An act of love or an act of murder? Sexy Time Theater does it with Body of Evidence. Hey guys, welcome to Sexy Time Theater. I'm Ben.
I'm Reese.
I'm Shannon.
Have you guys seen the naked Helena Bonham Carter tuna fish pictures?
No.
Oh.
What does that even mean?
Let me pull it up on my phone and show it to you guys. I guess there's some kind of like fish conservation thing in the UK they're doing, and she did some pictures for them.
Oh, that is too much. You've been having this one in your back pocket all week. I know you must have.
I just saw it this morning.
It's random.
It's like the greatest thing I never knew I wanted to see.
Yeah, totally.
Why is she hugging it?
Make sure we link that on our site so our viewers can check out the awesomeness that is Helena Bonham Carter hugging a tuna naked.
Like, she's photoshopped to shit for sure, but
yeah.
I love her so much. And her with tuna.
It's so 80s. Look at that hair.
Yeah.
Just naked, cradling a live tuna
very
fish.
Very teased.
It's very odd.
Love her, though. She's good.
It's like Belichick's just hair.
I mean, once you've been naked with Tim Burton, I guess, being with a tuna fish is probably like, okay.
All bets are off.
Hop, skip, and a jump.
Shannon.
Yeah.
sexytimetheater.podbean.com. Have you been there?
I've been to there, yes. I don't
Recently?
That was a horrible lie.
I'm uncomfortable. That was weird.
I've been there, and I've come to see that we've updated a few things, have we not?
It is not a horrible lie.
We have, haven't we?
I made friends with our neighbors, other podcasts on Podbean.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I went on and found, like, other movie review pods, and they're, like, actually really funny.
Did you talk to the Cult 45 guys?
Oh, my God. We're Instagram friends?
Can we, do a crossover with them?
Oh, my God. We should message them.
Is there, cult, erotic thriller that's kind of, thuggish? Is that the proper term for that?
Cult erotic thriller. I would guarantee there is.
There's got to be something with, Exhibit in it.
Yeah,
Is The Room considered an erotic thriller? Because they reviewed The Room, and it's hilarious.
It kind of is an erotic thriller.
There's some sex scenes in it.
Okay. Well, yeah, but no,
it's not erotic, but it is a movie.
Remember that Afro Man song? Colt 45 and 2 zigzags.
Yeah, who does
Baby, that's all I need.
Send just that to them and be like, this should be a theme song.
So regardless of that, we've updated the website.
Shannon, if you went to sexytimetheater.podbean.com,
I don't know why I'm getting called out.
You would see that we now have a
Reese
trailer section with every movie we've done so far, plus next week's episodes. And we also have a news and update section and a contact info section.
You want to know why we have to have a trailer section? Because we review shitty erotic thrillers from the 80s that no one's ever seen.
These movies are gems in a lot of our viewers' eyes.
We're helping the world watch movies that we don't even want to watch.
We're doing it so you don't have to.
Yes.
We're helping you. If you want to hear about them, because no one else ever wanted to, we're helping provide that service.
Please check out sexytimetheater.podbean.com. Take a look at our updates. Take a look at our trailers. Contact us at sexytimetheater@gmail.com. And tweet us at sexytimetheater.
We also are on Stitcher and iTunes. It just feels good to plug that. We're on iTunes, totally. Motherfucker. So
you've been to our iTunes, Shannon?
Yeah, I've been to all the things, Ben.
Have you liked us, rated us, reviewed us?
No, but everyone should.
Yes, because that's how we get more followers. That's how we get moved up the
chart.
The old ladder?
Yeah.
I feel like reviewing our own podcast is a little ridiculous.
Yeah,
and we might lose listeners. Listen, I really thought this was great.
I'm creating 10 ghost accounts so I can rate us a bunch of times and boost our
Shannon's voice is a mix of Fergie and Jesus, and I like to listen to it frequently. So that's going to be my review. You can find it on iTunes in the rate and review section. Please go and review with us.
Body of Evidence, guys. 1993. Madonna, possibly at the height of her star power as an actress, coming off of Dick Tracy and A League of Their Own. Dick Tracy was a big success, and she was the sex kitten in that. There's a lot of great actresses in League of Their Own. I don't know if Madonna's really one of them, but, like a critical darling.
In what she does.
She was... May Martevito was all the way May was a good character in that movie. I love A League of Their Own.
You know her whole name.
I
didn't know
could quote
that
whole movie right now for you.
I do love that movie, but I don't think she was bad.
Also, we're gonna get into it, but I love Madonna. I've loved Madonna for years. I will forever love Madonna.
It's something I've held against you for years.
Hey, you can hold it against me all you want, but there's something about... And I don't like the gap tooth thing, but she pulls it off. But let me stop. Let me get
I don't like that she kind of looks like SpongeBob. But...
Anyway.
This might have been like a turning point for her, because I feel like up to this point, there was just complete incline in her star power. And after this year, 1993, things kind of went to shit for a while. It's funny. I remember like really being into Madonna. As I thought she was really sexy when I was a kid. I always knew her more as an actress. I wasn't that familiar with the songs. The Great American Songbook, which is Madonna's greatest hits. Yeah. Shannon just gave me a thumbs down.
You have to illustrate.
She's
for the audience.
amazing songstress, all right?
I really don't like her. But guys, I'm going to review this movie in like 3 seconds. It was awful. Don't see it. Don't see it.
Cut and print. End of podcast. We'll see you guys next week.
Actually, we just wrapped this thing up in a minute 10. You don't need to see it. Not worth the time.
Madonna had just come off of the sex coffee book she had made.
Yeah.
Coffee table book.
Oh, because she's such a classy broad.
She took sexy photos, like, posing with black people naked.
Yeah.
Super cool.
It's totally cool.
And, super sexy stuff.
Perfectly okay with that.
Super sexy stuff like Vanilla Ice in a jock strap.
Wow.
Because I guess she was balling Vanilla Ice at the time.
Yeah. Was there someone she wasn't balling at that time?
Oh, God.
This might have been during Charles Barkley phase, too.
I don't think I've ever heard you say ballin' in regards to anything.
Remember in Space Jam when he's like, I'll never date Madonna again.
Yeah.
I remember, like I said, I thought she was a classy broad at the time. I only knew her from Dick Tracy, though.
You thought she was a classy broad with a sex coffee table.
I didn't...
What were we, 7 years old at this time?
Well, I wasn't familiar. I was only familiar with Dick Tracy Madonna and that she was a big star.
You had access
and who's that
to
girl,
HBO.
Madonna?
You had access to all this information.
Not too long after that period, she was in like one of the tabloid magazines, and I was going through it, and there was a picture of her. She was pregnant, and maybe with like her first baby, and she was like swimming in mud. She was just like in a mud pit swimming around, and somebody very close to me, I won't out them on this show, but a family member just looked at me looking at that magazine with Madonna swimming in the mud with her big pregnant belly, and was just like, that's where she belongs. Fucking pig.
I might second that notion. I think she's just kind of a garbage person.
Really?
I really don't like her that much.
Okay, before we dig into this, I don't want to spend too much. What is your big gripe with Madonna? Please.
I don't like her. And you know what? It's not because, listen, female sexuality all the way, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I just think she's kind of a gross person.
Man. That's really bold. Okay.
I don't mind. And you know what's worse? I don't mind Miley. She's garbage too, but I don't mind her.
Miley and Gaga and all of these new
pretenders to the throne.
Yeah. they are all doing this because Madonna paved the way to make it okay for these pop stars to really embrace their sexuality and do the type of things that they're doing now.
I don't know. There are ways to embrace your sexuality, and I feel like she didn't necessarily do that. She just was kind of gross.
Twerking and sticking your tongue out.
I didn't say I liked Miley. I said she's also garbage. I said I just don't mind her as much as I mind Madonna. Madonna's just kind of gross.
I'm going to stop derailing this train.
I don't know. I just no, I don't like her. Case in point, this movie's reviewed.
Madonna won't be listening to this podcast, and she will not be responding to our tweets.
Let's plug every actress ever.
Plug. Anyway,
let's ball them. Be ballin'.
Anyway, guys, body of evidence.
There's no point to the movie.
A 6% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Nominated for 6 Razzies.
Should be nominated for everything.
I knew its reputation going into it as one of the worst movies ever made. Certainly one of the worst movies in the 90s.
One of the worst movies you ever forced me to watch. Definitely.
This is our 50 Shades. I'm like, watch this movie.
This is a...
There's no safe word. You have to watch the whole thing.
I know. There's no safe word. Red.
Yeah, this movie was very 50 Shades of yesteryear. It was,
it's OG.
Yeah.
It's a weird fucking movie.
Totally.
It's really bad. I went into it with the idea that I'm not going to judge it. I know it's supposed to be bad. Maybe it's going to be good. I don't know. And it wasn't.
McDonald turned me around.
Well, I was saying Dafoe could carry a film, so I was expecting...
Can Dafoe carry a movie when he is the sex symbol?
No,
it's different.
He was definitely not the sex symbol of this movie, obviously.
What? No. He was supposed
He's
to
the
be
romantic
a sexy
lead.
male.
He's the romantic lead. The sex symbol of this movie is Madonna.
This was made after Basic Instinct, right? This is Madonna's ghetto ridiculous rendition of that movie with...
Well,
with
to prepare
some
for this
class.
episode, not only have I seen this fucking thing twice, but I also did extensive reading. This was shot before
Extensive reading?
Basic Instinct was released. So
Okay.
I thought the same exact thing. This is just their ripoff of
The
Basic
exact
Instinct.
same everything.
Except not as well.
Oh, yeah, no. It's complete garbage by comparison. Yeah, with the two detectives walking in, like, it's shot exactly the same. Even the weird interview scene with her is the same.
Yeah, and the drug reference, I picked up on that.
The only
also.
difference is that Willem Dafoe's her lawyer instead of
The cop on
it being
the
the
case.
cop.
Yeah.
The director of this one was Uli Adel, German filmmaker. Made some miniseries, a lot of TV work. The only other thing you might know him from is Disney's The Little Vampire.
I fucking love The Little Vampire.
I saw them on the list. I've never heard of it.
Honestly, there are a lot of parallels between The Little Vampire and this fucking movie.
It's got the kid from Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire kid?
It's
Okay.
adorable.
It's right at that phase where he was going to grow out of being like a cute little kid and be like an awkward
it's
adolescent.
perfect. Who's the dad in that?
I've never seen it.
Oh my god, how have you never seen The Little Vampire?
Because we don't watch shit movies.
Oh, fuck you. That movie is delightful for all ages. It's an amazing movie.
You sound like the back of a box that's
Listen,
inside of this shop, right?
There's a lot of, like, blood play in that movie.
Wow.
Because vampires.
When we run out of erotic thrillers to review, we're going to change the show to Shannon's Whimsical Watches. And we'll do Little
Family
Vampire.
fun.
Ben loved the kid. Don't let him fool you. I made him watch it. It was amazing. And
Who,
you're
B.
a dick.
Wills?
He
B.
B. Wills.
Wills. That's my boy.
Bruce?
It's so... That movie is so
Bruno
good.
the
Also,
kid.
no, Little Vampires, he did a good job in that one. I don't know what happened here. You really dropped the ball. But in Little Vampire, he picked the ball up. He was like, I got this.
Based on his 2-film body of work, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Like, if I saw, like, if they were like, here's the script for Little Vampire, pick a director, I wouldn't be like, oh, fuck, Body of Evidence, I've never seen that. Listen, I got the perfect guy. Don't worry about it. Are there a lot of candles in this movie? Because then...
The man
totally
who
perfect.
so lovingly photographed Willem Dafoe's caved-in chest. Before we even get into it,
Awkward.
Willem Dafoe's body bothered me so much in this movie. He still had like that swimmer's
His
bod
face
from
didn't bother
Last
you?
Temptation of Christ.
Oh, man.
What really
I like Willem Dafoe.
what
I
upset
don't
me
like his
about
face.
it was that as a skinny man, I feel like
As a skinny broad.
as a skinny man who tries to maintain his body and try to build muscle and whatnot, I'm not good at it, but
Oh, hush.
Willem Dafoe is my best case scenario. Like, I'm looking at his body and I'm like, that's the best
feel
I could
like,
ever...
You know what? And I like Willem, and I feel his body's okay. I think you got a leg up on Willem. I'll give yourself a little bit more credit than that.
Unfortunately, I know that my aunt and my mom both say you have a body like Adam Levine, so...
Wow!
Yeah!
Man, that's
They
a pretty
came-
high stock.
They came over to take a tick out of his arm one day because Ben decided to be Dora the fucking Explorer and went through, like, the woods. And they came over to fix his arm, and they left, and they were like, whoa.
So-
I didn't know he looked
So
like
just in
that.
case our viewers don't know, our resident sexy man, Ben over here, has got a body like Adam Levine. So, body of evidence.
So we got Madonna. We got Willem Dafoe. We have Ann Archer, our first
on.
returning actress.
Can I just say, if you were like, who are the two least attractive people to ever put as, like, your
Shut
main
up.
romance lead female, I'd be like, probably Madonna. Actually, I wouldn't put her in a movie, but if I had to, I'd be like, oh, fucking Madonna.
We'll
She's
come back
gross.
to this again and again.
And then
Sigh.
Willem Dafoe, I'd be like, they were like, oh, you need a really sexy guy. Willem Dafoe would not be my answer.
Okay, Willem Dafoe never would have been my answer, but he's got good acting chops. Not this he used him in this movie.
He's an amazing actor, but
But-
no, he's not my
Madonna
romantic lead.
handpicked Willem Dafoe, and she makes nothing but awesome choices.
Yeah, obviously in life.
Is that a true story? Did she handpick Willem Dafoe?
Yep.
Awesome.
I think Madonna was in her Like a Prayer phase, and she saw Last Temptation of Christ, and she was just like, rock me sexy, Jesus.
Yes.
But we also have Ann Archer.
Your face is priceless.
You guys are no-selling Ann Archer. I refused.
Oh, Ann
Dude,
Archer, I fucked.
You know, and Ann Archer was awesome, and I was
fucked
dying
with
so
her.
hard to see
Yeah.
Ann Archer naked in
I've been
Fatal
waiting
Attraction, and we didn't
since
get that.
our first
I know,
podcast.
right?
She
Since
does.
we were naked.
She gets pretty victimized here too. We don't.
Yeah, she's.
We still don't
real
get a strong
sad
Ann
face.
Archer character.
Well, I have a comment about her strength actions.
Well,
I was
again-
happy about it as in comparison to her Fatal Attraction role.
again, the whole movie,
certain
we're
aspects.
pretending this way uglier girl is hotter than Ann Archer.
Ann Archer's a beautiful woman. Madonna is more attractive than Ann Archer.
Fuck
We're going to be
you.
coming back to this
Fuck
like 25
you,
times.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
today.
I don't want to hear it.
I have some notes about the things that were done to Ann Archer by hair and makeup. The hair in this movie in general.
all together.
not good.
There's
But-
a scene where Madonna's wearing a hat and it looks like she's a bald man.
What? She was rocking that beret.
But I'm saying like they slicked her hair so
Yeah,
hard.
It's weird
It
because
was
this
so weird.
This is a movie. It's a vanity project. It's built around the idea that Madonna's the star and everybody else is here to service Madonna.
Yeah.
But they don't make her look good at
No.
all.
No,
Like,
she definitely wasn't dolled up.
She should have taken a hand and been like, "Look,
She doesn't
you're
need to be
supposed to make
dolled up,
me
right?
look great." Joe Mantegna's in it.
Joe Mantegna, love Joe Mantegna.
He's the detective, right?
He's a prosecutor.
Prosecutor, yeah.
He comes in the house, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He's the
He
DA.
comes. He doesn't.
No, Joe Mantegna has pops up and he's like a '90s regular. Like, if you needed,
Yeah, no, I was trying to place him in the movie. He's the detective. Okay, prosecutor guy.
Yeah. If you needed like a solid performance by like a character that in a movie in the '90s, you call Joe Mantegna and he always delivered.
And this is a role he's done several times where he's the prosecutor trying to out for justice.
Yeah.
Do prosecutors usually go to the house where the crime is committed and
DAs will.
evaluate the crime scene?
Not just like your typical lawyer, but like the
I thought
DA
they just
would.
got like a box of things and they're like, here you go.
Nah.
One time I
I
got
don't
a
know shit about the law. I don't have a law degree.
One time I got a ticket, and the guy that pulled me over said, you can take care of this in court. So I had to, basically pay it off so I wouldn't get any points.
Yeah.
I went into the prosecutor's office to, plead it down, and the prosecutor was like, yeah, so when I pulled you over, and I realized that the prosecutor was the cop. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
It was fucked up.
Dun dun.
Yeah, no, district, you ever see
Was that the one
like,
that you-
the DAs are there on the crime scene a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the one that you didn't pull over the first time you put the lights on?
I thought it was an emergency vehicle trying to get around me.
That story is that
I
bad
kept-
story?
I kept pulling over, and then I was like, oh, I guess he's not trying to get around me, so I would go again, so he thought I was fucking with him.
It's a ridiculous story. It makes no
God.
sense.
Ooh, save
How
that
many
for,
times?
Save that for post podcast.
Three times.
That sounds great.
Three times. And what did the cop say to you when he got to your window?
Explain to me why I shouldn't lock your ass up right now.
And then you had to go be like, can we talk this down? You're such an
You're such a criminal, man. Oh,
Right?
who knew?
Adam Levine is on the run.
And last, but certainly last,
The voice.
Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore.
Poor Julianne Moore.
Ooh.
In the Ann Archer role.
And there's
Yeah.
a gem role in this movie. He's got very little lines, very little bit, but he was the most shining part of the movie. Frank Langella.
Oh, fucking Skeletor was in this movie.
Skeletor, fucking.
I'm sorry, Nixon?
Yeah.
We just
Yes,
call
yes.
him Nixon?
No, but Langella, he came in and laid down legit acting in a really shit movie. Actually, there's a big point of that I made in that, because I love Frank Langella. I mean, it made me think of Small Soldiers.
He lays pipe in dudes, too.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
Sorry, spoilers.
Come on, River.
So, we're not even out of the credits.
This is a Doctor Who reference. Sorry.
We're not even out of the credits.
We haven't even talked about the credits, actually.
We get a tracking shot through this haunted house. It's basically the Tales from the Crypt opening.
Doom, 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 doom.
Creepy old house.
A Tales from the Crypt entry is like the inside of Madonna's vagina.
Oh my god.
We're in a creepy house that no one knows what's going the fuck on. But it's wide enough so we can all fit. Go ahead, Ben. You're welcome.
So, the first time I watched this, I didn't realize that we go through this house, and we go to the guy's bedroom. The first thing we see are nipple clamps on a bed table. And then we see this old
Do you
man.
mean car spark plugs? Because they were the size of spark plugs for a car.
We see this old man laying in bed watching a sex tape. I thought he was
You need a
watching it.
jump?
I thought he was alive, but he's dead.
No, was he dead?
He was already dead.
In the,
Oh, see, I didn't realize he was already dead. I thought he was alive, actually. I thought he was just
in
kind
the
of
credits, I thought he was alive.
I thought he was just kind of hanging out, just watching it, and I was like pre-mortem.
No, he wasn't. He was just dead-eyed. He was.
Oh, that makes me so uncomfortable. We watch a dead guy watching porn.
Nice.
Why would they make
He wasn't
us
watching
watch
it.
that?
It was just on in front of his body.
Ew.
I don't know what that-
We watched him have it on
You know what's
in front
funny?
of his dead body.
I don't know what that guy's name is, but he was like a soap opera actor. He wasn't anybody of any note.
Yeah.
They offered him the part, and he didn't really want to do it, so he told his agent to ask for like an astronomical amount of money, and they gave it to him. And he was like, all right.
Awesome.
So he got a shit ton of money just to pop up as a dead guy for 5 seconds.
Can I say that he may have had the best acting in the whole movie?
Frank Langella.
Oh, fuck. Frank Langella. Okay. If we step aside from Frank Langella, he had the best acting in this whole movie.
I love Langella in this, but did you feel like they were like, you think we can get Sean Connery? And they're like,
and we couldn't, and then we just shot for Frank Langella.
Something about Langella in this like made me Google, like, was he ever up for James Bond? Because I would have loved to see Frank Langella as James Bond.
I love him.
No, Langella, but he's American though, right? Langella's not British.
I think he's British.
Is he? Okay,
He kind of had a British thing going on. That's...
He does. He's got a
like-
British air about him, but...
If we learned anything, it's not to speculate. Just find out. We don't want to tag him. In
Okay. All right. So we got dead guy watching porn. So that I totally did not know he was dead.
Like a lot of things, they don't really establish it well that he's dead. So we're confused when the next thing we see is all these emergency vehicles and police there the next day.
Yeah, we didn't know he watched a corpse watching porn, but now that we do, we're very upset.
And the first thing that came to so prevalent in my mind that I had to make sure I made note of to talk about. So obviously, all these cops shop at the same trench coat store. Did you notice that? Like, it was really, really weird. Like, everyone had the same exact trench coat on, and then, like, the female detective came in, and it was kind of funny because her trench coat looked like a man's trench coat that was, like, way too big for her. I'm like, are they all shopping at the same trench coat?
It's like Gillian Anderson first season of the X-Files.
Yes. Yeah,
they spent way too much money on the soap actor guy that they didn't have any money left over for wardrobe.
Or for the score, because this is just very stock early 90s jazz.
Yes.
Early 90s sexy jazz.
Can we find that to make our entry music? We
there's
need
gotta
stock
be some
jazz music.
And if there's any listeners out there that's got any public domain sexy jazz, sexy sex music, please send it to sexytimetheater@gmail.com.
Please email us anyone, actually. Our email is very lonely. It's only us emailing each other.
It's us and Nancy Allen. There's only people that have been corresponding.
We really love Reese's voice in this, but it's just Reese emailing himself. Please.
We get just the most basic cop dialogue. Bagged and tagged. Yep. Better him than us.
Yeah.
I gotta find out who wrote this, because if you told me that Dennis Rodman and Madonna wrote this on a condom wrapper, it would make sense.
Yes! It totally would make sense, actually. It's an awful movie. I don't have notes because I didn't care.
No, see, I have minimal notes, and it's funny. I walked in and I'm like, as we're doing prep, and I'm looking at Ben's notes. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of notes for a really shitty movie.
Yeah, I think Ben wrote the transcript. Actually, that's why he has so many notes. He's like,
speaking of the procedural cop nonsense, one of the officers, the black cop, so I had to call him out, Stan Shaw, who's got an amazing.
Stan Shaw is one of the guys that works for Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, you're right. Wasn't he at the scene though?
Everyone's at the scene.
There was a different black cop.
Oh, was there?
Who's the one playing with the nipple clamps? Like, what the fuck are these? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking that was Stan Shaw.
Well, the reason he
but
said
Stan Shaw's going to pop up later, and I love Stan Shaw because he had an awesome role in Harlem Nights. But that's neither.
Well, the reason he said "what the fuck are these" is because they're the size of like something that you would hook to a car. Weren't they awkward? I don't use nipple clamps personally, but they were huge.
I have been around nipple clamps before, and they do look nothing like the props that were in this. Maybe this is just the 90s, and it was just older, and that would,
I feel like the
design wasn't done well, but they were really, really big.
Yeah,
they were really big.
These were clamps that I feel like you would put, I don't know, on like just not nipples. I don't know how to describe it other than not nipple clamps.
So they've already said that this guy died of cardiac arrest, but he was handcuffed at the time that they believe he died. The handcuffs are off now. There's some confusion about that. They don't really set that up well either.
Are you upset, looking back on the whole movie, are you upset now that you watched a corpse watch porn?
No.
You're not upset?
I've seen things, Shannon.
I feel violent. I know. You've talked in previous episodes about how much you've seen. Reese, are you upset?
Not in the least bit.
You're not upset? I didn't know he was dead, and now I'm very upset that they forced me to watch that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm dwelling.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, screenplay written by Brad Merman, who really is not known for shit besides
Merman Pop.
Yeah. Brad Merman, who his next thing he did after this was one of the really, really bad Highlander sequels, like Highlander
The Final Dimension. I did read that. Yeah.
And he did a really right in the age of like everyone was really doing shitty straight to DVD Matrix-esque movies. Absalon. It starred Lou Diamond Phillips. It's really not good. I've rented it once.
LDP.
Yeah, but Lou Diamond was not good in it either. I love him, but yeah. But anyway.
I was trying to say Hova and I said Yoda. That's not gonna go.
Stop throwing up gang symbols, okay?
I threw them up. I was just trying to
The Rock.
mimic.
Yeah, it's The Rock. ROC, baby.
Toe.
Joe Mantegna's district attorney. He's there because now they're saying it's foul play because he had been handcuffed at one point, but he's not now.
It's weird.
Ann Archer shows up, and she is the dead man's secretary. And it's immediately like, Madonna fucking did this.
Why isn't she
She's
just
the lady in the fuck
sexy,
tape that is still on.
Secretary. They could have made her the sexy secretary.
Well, you come to find out that she was a sexy secretary.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they could have
secretary?
given her an opportunity to be the secretary. The secretary. How did you say that?
The secretary.
The secretary.
The tape he was watching is still on. It's him fucking Madonna while he's handcuffed.
Yeah, so we get early titty action.
The histrionics.
There's so many tits in the movie.
Absolute insane thrusting that is going on is so silly. She's the poor guy, like he must have had bruises all over his legs.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overacting by Madonna in life, but also in this movie.
We haven't even really been introduced to her properly in the movie. We're already seeing what we're going to get out of Madonna, and it's fucking awful.
Yeah, I expected that from the credits when I saw her name. I just don't like her in general.
Now we're at the funeral.
This is where we actually get introduced to Madonna's character, correct?
Right. This is where we get
ridiculous
introduced
that
to...
we are at the funeral scene. We're at the funeral. We see Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe rolls up. It's at a time when everybody still has those rapey kind of glasses, those giant eyeglasses,
blue blocker, aviator type things.
He's wearing them. The guy standing next to him at the funeral is wearing. The guy behind them's wearing them, and they're all creepy. Seeing Willem Dafoe in this trench coat lawyer getup, it made me really want to see Willem Dafoe as Daredevil. I'm sad that never happened.
Wow.
I like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I wouldn't be bad with that. I love Willem Dafoe. There's very... Yeah. I couldn't really name a Willem Dafoe performance that I didn't enjoy minus this movie. And it's not even...
Thank God you said minus this movie.
And not only said I didn't enjoy it because I love him, so I gave him a pass for this movie, but this just really wasn't a good performance.
I thought it was weird that the defendant of the... Like, he's the lawyer of... the person that they think killed him, and he shows up at the funeral. Did he show up there to meet Madonna?
They hadn't met before now.
That's what I mean. Was he like, okay, meet me, like, you're gonna be my client, meet me at the fucking funeral?
No, not at all. I think this guy
just showed
was
up because he didn't know him?
I think it's just a high-profile death, and he happened to show up at the funeral. Why was Dafoe at the funeral? That is a good question.
Exactly.
Now that you bring that up,
just to meet with Madonna, that was it.
It's a plot device. He was there, but for no reason other than he was just there.
I know I've already talked about his body. Willem Dafoe with no wrinkles, like a smooth-faced young Willem Dafoe is actually creepier than like the hard edge. Like
he's actually hotter in Spider-Man than he is in this movie. What was there is a movie with him. Is it Born on the 4th of July where he's in that movie? There's one.
No. Platoon.
Platoon?
Yeah,
is that it?
Yeah, Platoon. He was really young.
Is he in Born on the 4th of July? I thought he was.
No,
Tom
isn't
Cruise.
he? No, but isn't he the other guy in the wheelchair and they get in the cripple fight?
I feel like he is.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've seen
I feel like I saw...
You were talking about Nan movie.
It was on TNT one day, and I caught a glimpse of it. I've never seen...
There's a point where they're both in wheelchairs, and they get in an argument on the side of the road, and they start beating the shit out of each other.
Listen, I've never been attracted to Willem Dafoe, except in whatever... I feel like it's Born on the 4th of July. I'm not 100%.
So you were attracted to him while he was in a wheelchair?
But he was in it, and it was just a clip of his face, and he was, like, talking. He gave this, like... dialogue, and I was just like, oh, I kind of like Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe's got a weird face, but it's,
it works for him in that movie.
Yeah.
Although I've never seen the whole thing. I saw a clip of it, and I was like, oh, he's kind of hot in this movie. I don't know why. But he wasn't in the movie where he was supposed to be the sexual symbol.
So he comes over to Madonna at the funeral, and from jump, she is driftwood.
Yeah.
there's just nothing going on.
I'm sorry, you said yeah?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay.
My one note, horrible acting by Madonna. Like, that's just, like, flat out. Like, I love Madonna. I didn't say that she, like, was driving home an Oscar performance here.
I think, like, she wanted to be a sex pot, but it just comes off like this charismaless void. And there's this weird music. They don't come back to it at all. It's almost like an old-timey, like, 40s drama music they have going on in this scene.
I don't remember the music.
It's really...
Yeah, it wasn't even memorable enough for me to make note of it.
I have no clue. Ben, did you make a note in your transcript?
This is in my
Weird
notes.
40s music comes on.
No, I made some note of some other notable things in the movie, but it was not even memorable enough for me at that point for me to make a second guess of it.
So she's like, I didn't do it, and he's like, I never ask my clients if they do it.
I never ask my clients if I do it, but I'm at this funeral.
It's so blatantly obvious, like, from the beginning of this film, that it's like, okay, so Madonna murdered the fuck out of this guy, and we're going to spend an hour and a half of her convincing Willem Dafoe that she didn't, and then come to find out that she did at the end of it. Like, there's no time where you are ever thinking anything other than the fact that Madonna killed this guy.
And you know what's funny? I didn't think Madonna killed this
Really?
guy. Only because, again, I was just kind of like, blah. I didn't think that she murdered him. But I thought that Willem Dafoe, like, when they were talking, and she was like, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I thought it
really
might have been
really sappy.
I thought it might have been Ann Archer.
And then
I was on board for believing that it was her.
So we meet Willem Dafoe's family. He's married to Julianne Moore in the thankless Ann Archer role of the married woman who gets fucked around on.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a weird, ginger kid. And poor Julianne Moore. This is working actress Julianne Moore. This isn't who she'd be by, like, Boogie Nights. She's not established. She's kind of just there. And her and Ann Archer do not have Madonna's hairstylist, so they're left to... I think they had Joe Mantegna's hairstylist.
They had perms.
I'll just put it up.
Yeah. They had perms. They had 80s.
She looked older here than she does now. Like, the makeup's just ridiculous.
Yes.
They don't even really establish that it's his wife and their kid. You don't know what's going on because they're in a restaurant and then she walks away. It turns out she owns this restaurant.
She owns the restaurant?
I
didn't even pick up on that.
I had no clue.
How did you guys not know she owned a restaurant?
I had no clue.
Are we watching the same film?
Okay. Ben has the transcript. We got fucked. We have no clue.
Their son, who's supposed to be, I guess, like 10, they were talking about the case, and the kid goes, Dad, can you really screw someone to death? Because that's what they think we didn't set that up yet. That they believe that Madonna is the murder weapon, that she screwed this man to death. And that's why she hired William.
She is the body of evidence.
Her body is the evidence.
Yes, that's
ridiculous. Bullshit.
She's retaining Willem Dafoe because the police are circling her. So he goes, no, son, do you have to worry about that yet? Are you screwing people? And he's like, good-looking guy like you, and it
was a really awkward exchange. Not the type of exchange between, like, you're like a 35-year-old father and your 10-year-old son. This isn't the type of conversation you have with your fucking kid.
Ben, if we ever had children, I would not have a conversation about a murder I was investigating in front of her child.
Well, even that, but, like, what 10-year-old kid is saying that? Yeah, what 10-year-old kid is saying to their parent, can you screw someone to death, Dad?
Who says that?
And another thing, how many fucking times has that kid probably eaten at that restaurant? He probably hates it. He's like, I've eaten everything on this menu. Every day after school.
I used to be a waitress. You get used to
I love your insight, Ben, because that is so true. Like, when you think about that, he would not be happy to be there. He'd be pissy.
Listen, I've been a waitress. You just get used to it. You order the same thing over and over.
Not when you're 10 years old, though. There's a difference.
I don't know. I feel like you would. When
if I was a 10-year-old boy, I would have been pissy. No. I would have been like, not saying anything to my parents.
All I ate was star pastine, like a little star pasta, and like one other thing. Because they eat the same thing over and over. So that kid will eat whatever his mom cooks him. Like, I didn't know that it was his mom. I told Ben after I watched it, I said I literally felt like I didn't know that they were a complete family. To have that conversation in front of a child.
We find out they're not a complete family. We also never see the kid again.
In a mother-father dynamic, I would never, bring work home. That's not me. But I wouldn't bring murder work home and discuss it. Especially in a case of, like, fucking to death. I'd never be like, oh, yeah, she might have had sex with him to death in front of my child. But just
the list of ethical and moral lapses that go on with Willem Dafoe in this movie, this doesn't even touch any of that.
Yeah, it's gross. It's gross.
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 Joe Mantegna interrogates Madonna with Willem Dafoe present, and he asks her about cocaine, and she's like, I've never done cocaine in Oregon.
Yeah, I've never used it. That was really, I thought that was pretty cool, because, like, you know, the coke comes out because it was in his body, and, like, you know, they grill her about it, and they ask her if she's ever done cocaine, and it's very obvious that she has. What is, the Willem Dafoe, like, cuts her off, and it says, cocaine use is illegal in the state of Oregon. So Madonna leans in and says, I've never used cocaine in Oregon. I thought that was pretty crafty screenwriting there. I like that line.
She's constantly needling Joe Mantegna. Every time they have a conversation, she has to get the last word and say something cute. And Willem Dafoe every time is like, shut the fuck up. Just let me do my job. Shut the fuck up. Dafoe's like, if you're not going to charge her with anything, we're out of here. And they start to leave, and Mantegna's like, okay. And he fucking arrests her.
Yeah, it's like, do your work. They book her right there on the spot.
I just remember that scene. I was like, this is like, you know, just like Basic Instinct.
Yeah, it was
except
a total,
except they're not in like a weird,
not rip
except
off,
they're not in like a weird basement where like that happens.
Where all the cops sit all on one table far enough away so you can spread your legs so we can all see it. We'll get to that when we get to that.
I need you to be across the room crossing your legs.
Defoe goes from like 0 to Green Goblin a couple times in this movie, and this is one of them. He like starts flipping shit on Mantegna's desk and is like, we have no probable cause. And Mantegna's like, he left her $8 million in his will because he's been fucking her regular for months, and that's what you do.
Fucking her regular.
If you're a lawyer and your client is someone that's on trial for murder of a man who you think just got murdered because he got fucked to death, you're gonna look into the paperwork and find out the fact that she is in the will for $8 million. Willem Dafoe freaks out on Mantegna, and then in turn freaks out on Madonna, like, oh, you're not gonna tell me this. I'm like, you're a fucking lawyer, dude. This is your job. Like, you should have researched that.
The premise on this movie is that this guy gets fucked to death. And this is the most ridiculous movie. Also, talk screen originally. Like, whenever you die, I feel like the first thing they do, if it's like, they did a
talk screen. That's why they know he's got cocaine.
Cocaine is about it.
Yeah, I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, then, okay, she's not the weapon any longer. Actually, this movie has no title because she is not the evidence.
It's a 1-2 punch of having sex with a much younger woman and being fed cocaine. Yeah.
I guess so.
He had a weak heart.
And he had a weak heart, you know, which the cops asked Madonna if Madonna knew he had a weak heart and stuff like that. And he's like, he has an arrhythmia. That's not really a weak heart.
Arrhythmia. Yeah. Me, as Madonna, a fucking doctor.
And Willem Dafoe is yelling at Mantegna. He's like, you can't go to jail for being a great lay. And Mantegna's like, I know, I would have been arrested already.
Yeah,
boom.
Yeah. Mantegna's got a couple of lines like that.
He's got a couple of zingers.
Yeah.
He's a zinger.
I wish they'd given Mantegna more to do, and they really could have.
They could have given anyone besides Madonna more to do.
It's such a great cast, and they're given nothing to do the whole movie. Defoe bails out Madonna, and he's driving her home, and he's telling her that if they go to trial, they're going to base the entire trial on her sex life. And she goes, have you ever seen animals making love? They never really hurt each other.
He's like, we're not animals. So they definitely, that's a big point. I thought that was actually like a tagline that was even in the trailer.
Is it a big point? Quote. It's just garbage.
Oh my gosh, I can't even with you right now, Shannon.
Are we animals?
Defoe's looking at her, and I feel like they should have just put in like a sound effect, like a boing.
Anything to break up just how ridiculous it is.
It's weird because there's a erotic thriller parody movie called Fatal Instinct, which came out around the same time.
Can we review that?
We will. We'll get there.
We'll get there.
But honestly, this looks and feels more like a parody of these movies than an actual erotic thriller.
It's a parody of Basic Instinct, but it sucks. That's the difference. No, but when they are like saying, oh, we're animals, like, aren't we animals? Like, it was awful.
Defoe takes that pent-up sexual frustration home, takes it to Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore looking good.
Looking ripe. But, like, honestly, like you said, she looks older now than she does in more recent years. And something I noticed, aren't Julianne Moore's boobs bigger nowadays? It seems like her boobs were way bigger in Boogie Nights than they were in this film. I don't know. To me, this, because, like, I mean,
can we get a scale?
I'm a huge Julianne Moore fan and a huge fan of her naked. Yeah. Like, Boogie Nights was like a big, big movie for me when it came out. So seeing Julianne Moore like in the buff was awesome.
She's naked in Lebowski too, isn't she?
Yeah, but like she got like the robe.
That was a body double.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Or was it body double
Maybe
in
she
this?
had double.
No, body double in Big
Lebowski.
Lebowski.
Okay.
Do you think it was a body double in Boogie Nights?
No, that was definitely her.
Okay.
I think
All right. Sorry for asking, guys.
I'm a Big Lebowski aficionado. The Coens hired her, and then she was like, "I'll do it, but I've done enough nude as I'm done for a while."
Oh, I really just love her.
I know. I love Julianne Moore. Julianne Moore is the awesome ginger. Awesome ginger.
We get our first of a lot of Dafoe butt that we see, and some Michael Douglas nipple licking, which is always good.
He went to the, what did you say before?
Michael Douglas
School of Nipple Licking.
He rolls off of her, and she goes, "You're great when you get a big case."
Yeah. You get a nice butt shot of Julianne, and she gets up and runs to the shower. She's like, I gotta take a shower. Dafoe's like, I'm just gonna stow in my own stench right here in the bed.
I'm surprised they didn't say, let's bring our son in to talk about this. Because that's the awkwardness that this movie portrays that they have with their child.
He's just like peeping through a keyhole. He's like, I guess you can't screw someone to death. Ann Archer is interviewed about Madonna and paints her as cokehead slut.
Yeah. Ann Archer is fierce in her disposition. It's extremely cutting. She's just cutting straight at Madonna's neck.
What's Madonna's name in the movie?
Rachel something.
Okay. So she doesn't...
No, it's Rebecca.
I just kept calling her Madonna.
It's Rebecca.
No, I immediately correct myself. Yeah, I feel like she reviewed Madonna. She was
Cokehead
like,
slut.
she's an awful cokehead slut. They were like, oh, no, we're not talking about the singer. We're talking about the actress.
I gotta find a good Ann Archer movie just to watch the taste out of my mouth, because this is another movie, she spends the whole movie either crying, about to cry, or just having finished cried.
Yeah, they really rob her.
And that's what's really sad. It gets to that later on in the film. This scene, I thought she was really strong in, and I was really happy because I was like, "Oh, so I get to see Ann Archer like in a real fierce, fiery role," and it all melts away very shortly after this scene. So
it makes me question my love for her, because if she had a lead role, could she handle it? Because she falls apart a little bit at everything.
Don't say that.
I don't say that. Have we seen it? I want to see her be like the broad I know she can be.
We'll do an Ann Archer podcast.
Yes.
We need to do one because I really like her, but I get upset because every movie she's just that crying girl in the corner.
She was fulfilling a role. She was, she got typecast.
No, she was a good actress in crying in the corner, but and she's naked in this one, which is a step in the right direction. But I'm
taking your clothes off.
Trying to get to that erotic thriller, that niche that we like.
Not enough naked.
Not enough naked.
No.
Not enough of her being like someone that you desire. She's just kind of a whiny girl.
Now that I think about it, I think Ann Archer's a body double on this too. Actually,
I couldn't tell. I couldn't find any.
Because I was doing my
sad.
I was doing my research and doing my for the STDs, which will come at the end of the podcast, and I was doing cross references to Mr. Skin, and actually I think I read somewhere about her being a body double in this film.
Mr. Skin.
Well, I want to be proper on my
favorites list.
on my facts. I want to make
so
sure my facts are
Dafoe goes over to Madonna's place, and this is the first time he freaks out on her. Not the last.
Yeah, definitely not the last.
Like, he doesn't do any investigation. Like, he doesn't really do a whole lot of work here
at all
in the movie at all. But whenever something happens that he doesn't know because he never bothered to ask, he freaks out. So he's going really big, but at least it's making up for Madonna's void.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe, yelling at Madonna for not telling, you didn't tell me this, you should tell me everything. And I'm in the background dude, you're the lawyer. This is your job to do these things.
You should know that already.
At least it's good filler, so it gives less time for Madonna to be horribly acting. At least we get Willem Dafoe overacting. And Willem Dafoe overacting is better than Madonna underacting any day of the week.
But he's like, why didn't you tell me that you do cocaine? And she's like, well, it's cool. And she takes him to this herbalist.
Oh my God.
She's bumping aspirin to take care of cramps.
As a woman, a little aside,
That's why you're here.
A woman who has cramps, I would never snort aspirin. Can I just say, I don't care what herbalist recommended it. I'd be like, oh no, there's pills for that. I'll just take
Okay, so all I gotta say is pretty much everything Madonna says and does in this entire film, especially starting from the whole herbalist scene, reeks of complete and utter bullshit. It's so the pungent, the aroma of it must be so
bullshit.
thick.
Yeah.
And Dafoe is just shoveling it up because the writing of this movie is just it's so bad to the point where Dafoe's like, well, I just want to fuck this girl, and I just want to see her naked, so I'm going to believe anything that comes the fuck out of her mouth.
I'm sorry, you're an awful cop, Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, because
also,
lawyer.
lawyer, whatever, Tony Montoya or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh man, can we?
He's an awful.
Disrespecting Joe Montana, who I
watched this movie with one eye shut because I was so
privately
upset.
tweeted Joe Montana earlier
Joe
this evening.
Montana, whatever.
Let's get his name right.
I'm sorry.
Fat Tony from The Simpsons.
Anyway.
Yes, Fat Tony.
Blah. Anyway, as a cop, he should. The first thing, cocaine use, whatever. The minute you accuse the person that you're arresting for being the main, like, murder suspect or whatever, you give them a tox screen. Take whatever you need to do a tox screen and see if she has coke in her system. There's no reason for an herbalist. Like, there's no reason for her to have to prove that because she should have already had blood work done because these are awful cops that don't know what they're doing. The immediate thing is, he died of a cocaine overdose. Okay, we're going to test you for cocaine to see if you were doing it together.
I don't know if they can just do that like that. We don't know, and neither does Brad Merman.
No one knows. But I'm just saying, as a cop, if I was a cop and they were like, oh, this guy died of cocaine, I'd be like, okay, we're going to test you for cocaine.
While she's at the herbalist, she decides to get some naked acupuncture. She's like, Dafoe, just wait here. And she goes through this beaded curtain area. He's playing with a cat that comes out of nowhere. He's like, you're a pussy.
Like, you decide to play with the cat as you're standing around waiting for your client to get done with her acupuncture.
He's an awful lawyer.
He's an awful person.
He's an awful everything.
Yeah,
he's
seriously.
an awful everything, but he's an awful lawyer. Why is he there?
He's peeking in.
She's getting massaged. Right?
She's getting acupuncture. He's peeking in,
Is
and
she getting
Yeah.
she's getting acupuncture.
Did you watch this movie?
She didn't. I am
watched it.
completely
I
convinced
swear
that
to
you
God.
haven't watched the movie.
I swear to God I watched this movie.
He's staring into...
I've done nothing. You're so mad at me for no reason. I watched the movie. I did my research. There's no reason for you to yell at me. I know they were in an herbalist place. I know she went behind a beaded curtain. I thought she was getting a massage. I apologize. I saw no needles.
I can legitimately see the blood boiling within Ben's veins. I can just see
I know. I thought she was getting a massage. I didn't know it was acupuncture because I don't listen when Madonna talks in this movie. But I can say that I saw her getting topless, which is like the whole point of that movie. Were the tits there, Reese?
No, there weren't tits. We got butt.
Tits.
We got butt.
Okay, we got ass.
You already had Madonna tits on screen.
Also,
the acupuncture is the first time she takes it in the butt in this movie.
But it will not be the last.
If you want to see Madonna get poked, this is the movie. Actually, everything she's ever done.
Oh gosh.
Madonna lives on a houseboat, like a 70s private detective. This is a big houseboat.
It wasn't a houseboat. It was like a.
It's a big houseboat.
Bali, house on a thing.
Honestly, I thought it was just a boat. No, I thought it was a house on the water, like on a dock.
Like
I didn't think it was a boat.
Wait. So it's a house in the water on a dock.
Oh, it makes no fucking sense. I'm not trying to make sense of it.
I thought it was like
it
a
wasn't
house,
a boat though.
On a dock, because even when they were walking up to it, I just thought there's you see those houses because you see those houses that are on waterfronts that have docks right there at the house, and the front of the house was there.
That wasn't what I thought it was.
I thought it was that personally.
You never see a steering wheel, so I guess it's not a houseboat.
No, I thought it was. I've only seen these in getaway ads to Bali, but those little cabins on the water. That's what I assumed it was, a little.
Yeah, I know what that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. No houseboat. You're a liar.
It might have been a houseboat.
I guess we're to assume she's a professional girlfriend because there's no explanation why she can afford this thing, whatever it is.
Whatever the fuck it is.
But the trial begins, and Montana's opening statement is that she made the sex kinkier and snuck him coke until he died, and she fucked him to death so she could inherit the $8 million.
Smart.
And Dafoe's argument is that she's on trial for being a sexy sex lover.
She's on trial for making him her submissive.
She's on trial for being a slut, and they're trying to arrest her for being a slut that funnels drugs down her lover's throat.
That's the other thing. She's a dominatrix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently, kinda.
Maybe that's her profession. That's why she can afford a Bali style house.
In the last 10 minutes you find out that she owns an art gallery. They never really explain that.
Yes.
At one point you see her fucking with a painting, but
explained.
yeah.
You can't get into what isn't explained.
The prosecution's thesis is that he was snuck the cocaine through a nasal spray bottle. Mm-hmm. So that comes up later on.
Yes.
The judge is like a disapproving principal. She's like yelling at Dafoe, "It's going to be a long trial if I have to start warning you on the first day."
Like, can I say, like, the resent that I have for the strong black woman judge? Like, I really, like, I don't know.
You're mad?
I was. I can't lie. Like, it felt really ham-fisted. It felt as ham-fisted as Derek fucking Saul Patrick Thomas's fucking composition of a Dr. Martin Luther King play. Like, I was, like, really, like, she was just really too stereotypical strong black woman for me.
To be fair, if I was the judge in this trial, I would have no patience for these motherfuckers either.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't know. Something about her personality.
Chuckleheads. They don't know what's going on.
Joe Mantegna's just slut-shaming her the whole time. Willem Dafoe is like arguing. He's just like, characterization. Yeah.
Dafoe's obviously like this kind of like, I wouldn't call him a sleazy lawyer, but he obviously is the type of guy that's defending less reputable clients. And this judge, you can tell, like, has a repertoire with him and is probably already tired of his shit at this point.
He's Saul.
I give him a couple steps above Saul. He's a couple steps above Saul. I'll give him.
The first prosecution witness is Jürgen Prochnow. I think that's how you say it, Prochnow. He's an acclaimed German actor from Das Boot and English Patient, Air Force One, and he plays a doctor who treated the rich guy that Madonna was fucking for cocaine poisoning. And he kind of paints it as this guy was getting slipped cocaine and he almost overdosed one time. And then they call Ann Archer, who was given this really unfortunate Joe Dirt mullet in this scene for some reason.
Yes.
And Dafoe tries to break her on the stand.
I was highly upset because I definitely thought Jürgen, whatever his name was.
Maybe it's Jürgen.
It probably wouldn't be Jürgen. I definitely thought it was Eric Stoltz for a minute while I was watching it. And I'm like, oh man, it's Eric Stoltz. And I'm like, nah, he would have looked way younger because he's like 93. Because Jürgen looked like how Eric Stoltz looks now. So, no, not Stoltz.
Eric Roberts?
Roberts, thank you. Eric Roberts. Wow, sorry about that.
It's weird that you said Eric Stoltz and I thought Eric Roberts.
Yeah, I was thinking Eric Roberts and I just said Stoltz because I love Eric Stoltz. But no, I thought it was
both.
Yeah, I like both. But I thought it was Eric Roberts, and I got really excited because I thought it was Eric Roberts, and then I was like, I was like, oh, on IMDb, I'm like, oh, that's not Eric Roberts. So.
Defoe's talking to Ann Archer, and he's trying to break her on the stand, and he's talking about how she's a recovering cocaine addict, and that she was the one that admitted him to the hospital for the overdose, and. In general, the courtroom shit is boring.
Oh my god. So long.
Well, and that's another thing. This whole film is really just a boring courtroom drama. Like,
absolutely.
With tits interjected in between to keep you wanting to continue watching it.
Absolutely, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, listeners. It's fucking awful. Don't watch it. We spared you the opportunity. We spared you from watching.
It's not even a good courtroom drama. It's a very, very boring courtroom drama.
Dressed to Kill, kind of worth it to watch. But this, bullshit.
Dressed to Kill was still entertaining, you know?
Entertaining. It was weird. It's like funny.
It was quirky, you know?
You can watch other people and kind of laugh. This one, you're just going to be like, what the
This is the first bad movie we've done.
It's bad.
Yeah, I would say that.
Defoe and Madonna go to dinner. They don't go to Julianne Moore's restaurant, so you already know Defoe's got his fuck me game on.
Well, would you take her to your wife's restaurant?
I think everybody would be more comfortable that way. Yeah.
I would totally take her to your wife's restaurant, so therefore you aren't thinking that you might be fucking your client who's supposed to be the sex
be like, this is my client, I'm not fucking her.
On me, but I don't pay her. You know?
There's never a doubt in anyone's mind that's watching this film that Dafoe is going to be fucking Madonna at some point.
There's no doubt.
Like, there's no lead-in, there's no segue, there's no chemistry, there's just like, okay, so you're obviously going to be fucking your client, and we're just kind of like looking at our watch, waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, and the funeral when neither of them should really be there.
Yeah.
Honestly, a better movie would have been this guy that's tempted but doesn't do it.
We'll get there.
Yes.
There's a couple of better movies that could have been.
Temptation.
I mean, it would have probably been better just not to make the movie, but if you had to.
One could argue that this movie should have never been made because it's crap.
They talk about their childhoods. They're kind of just bullshitting about BDSM, which they never really look at, thoroughly. They just kind of just write everything off as kinky shit. They don't. This isn't a serious look at like submissives and dominance or anything.
It's not 50 Shades.
But he's like look around the room and tell me who in here is into kinky shit just by looking at them.
Yeah.
And she looks around the room, comes back, looks at him, and goes, I can't tell you. And he goes, why? And she's like, because he doesn't know yet.
Ooh. So obvious. It's just really, it's ham-fisted. Like, seriously, take the ham, make a fist around it, and shove it down your fucking throat. Like, and that is this movie.
We haven't even got to their sex yet.
Which we're getting there. I mean, like, we're on the cusp of one of many rounds of Dafoe and Madonna having sex.
Gross.
They go back to Madonna's not houseboat, and he makes a move on her, and she kind of resists.
Yeah,
and
playing coy.
He is less sympathetic than Michael Douglas in Fatal Attraction. You don't even see kind of like a switch. He's just immediately just like, sex.
Yes.
Sex with lady.
And Julianne Moore, one, is a fucking hot fucking lady, and I guarantee she is fucking Willem Dafoe's brains out on a regular basis. She seems like that. She even makes comment about, I love when you get a good case. Like I'm guessing his sex life isn't probably lacking. I mean, I guess they're really trying to show you how sexy Madonna is and how much of a seductress she truly is. But it just doesn't come across well.
I did watch this movie, just for the record. But, no, like, she turns him down. She's like, no, go home or whatever. And then he waits till the lights turn out, and then he runs back, right?
Well, he's sitting in his car, and she goes out
like
on her...
creepy stalker.
She goes out on her deck and starts undressing in front of him.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he was just going to whip it out and start, like, tugging one out.
Ugh.
But instead, for the first time of many, Madonna never locks her door.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe is constantly going into this house.
Well, it's a houseboat. You could just hop onto it.
Yeah.
She's like, he's in.
This is Oregon. I mean, I'm not saying much about the people that live in Portland, but I'm highly doubt there's a need for locked doors, like, in this area, I'd imagine.
Actually, I have a friend in Portland, Oregon, so if you could tell us, one, if you have a houseboat, two, if you keep it unlocked at night because you're saving your neighborhood.
The only thing I want to know about your friend in Portland is if they're friends with Carrie Brownstone and Fred Armisen. And if not, then I don't want to know anything else.
I don't think they actually live in Portland.
Of course they don't live in Portland. It was just supposed to be funny.
Do they film
Shannon.
it there?
No.
They don't film it there?
No.
They have to.
I think they get the opening
There's
shots
a
there.
lot of
I think they, like, you know, those opening shots, like The Office. They get all those opening shots in Scranton, but they very rarely film in Scranton.
They're just there. It's very... And I know we've talked about this in our previous podcast. It's very rapey. Like, he runs back in,
oh my God,
busts the door down,
rapey.
right?
It gets extremely rapey at points, too.
Door's unlocked. He, like, pushes her off in the stairs, and then they start making out.
It's not a stair wrestling
yeah.
and ear sucking.
Stair wrestling? Where'd your accent come from, Ben?
He chases her into the bedroom.
Yeah.
And she's kind of laying there seductively.
It's not sexy to chase someone like that. It's weird.
It can be.
She takes his belt and ties his arms behind him, and she's like, my way.
Yes.
And straddles him, and she starts dripping candle wax on him, which is supposed to be super sexy. She's taking the candle wax, she's dripping on him, he's like, ah.
He's very
And then
scared
she's taking
of it,
the
though.
champagne, but she's like, are you scared? And he's like, no, just keep touching it. Just touch it.
Ew.
He doesn't say that,
I'm
but
very
that's...
upset. Very upset by the tenacity at which you said that.
And we get a good look at his Jesus body.
Yes.
She drips some onto his dick, which is apparently a Madonna choice. That wasn't in the screenplay, but she was like, no, I'm dripping on his dick.
Wait.
This is happening.
She's like, have you seen my fucking book? Alright? No, but when she's dripping on his chest, she then licks it off. Is it flavored wax? Like, why is she licking it off?
She was in the mood, she was getting,
When I'm in the mood, if I'm dripping candle wax on someone, I wouldn't then be like, oh, wax didn't taste good.
You're
if
not
I lick it
Madonna,
off.
though.
That's true. I don't have my own gross book.
And she's back on top, just like in the sex tape, and she's going buck wild.
Hold on. Wait. Homemade condom with wax. She pours it on his dick. I believe that there's a homemade condom situation. And then she has sex with him. I don't think that's safe for your vagina. Maybe you should see your herbalist about it, because he might have something you can
something you can sniff that will
to help you.
Secure.
But maybe that's why her cramps are so bad, because she has wax stuffed up inside her cervix that she doesn't know about.
To go back to the music here, it sounds like a European travel log from Epcot's World Showcase.
Yes.
We love Disney. Can you tell?
He goes home, and he's got marks on him that he has to hide from Julianne Moore.
Yes.
Marks from the wax, right?
Yep.
It's like burns.
And scratches and whatever else.
Because he's a hairy ass fucking dude, and she's like, well, what's going on? Like
why do you have patches of hair missing?
Yeah.
You look like for a 40-year-old virgin. You look like a man-o'-lantern.
They call Jurgen back to the stand at the trial.
Oh shit, we're back in the trial.
Yeah, we're gonna do this a lot.
Oh, the court scene.
And he's like, yeah, I dated Madonna. While he was dating Madonna, she asked him about the rich guy that...
The previous rich guy. Yeah.
The prosecution is trying to establish that Madonna was dating Jurgen so she could get information about this rich guy who had a weak heart and show that she knew that cocaine would kill him and that she used that to break up with Jurgen, start dating this Andrew fella, feed him cocaine, and fuck him to death.
She's trying to make it premeditated.
So it doesn't look...
they're trying to make it premeditated.
It doesn't look good.
No.
But then Dafoe comes up and he questions Jurgen. He says, we have witnesses that say you forced yourself on her because she wouldn't have sex with you. You tried to blackmail her. And he plays voicemails where he's like, God damn it, answer the phone. I will destroy you, and all this other shit.
Everything from the beginning of this movie, I said it before, and I'll say this probably 6 more times, because everything is just so wrapped up in a nice little box, and Dafoe is just so, like, moronically blind to any and all of it. I just don't get it, man. Like, I just like how gullible are you really? Like, I mean, I understand Madonna must be a great lay, but like, is it really that good that you're just that blind to everything going on around you?
You think she's the great lay? Like,
I'd imagine Madonna be awesome.
She fucked a man to death.
Come on, twice.
She is the evidence. I get it. No, but like, do you think in real life? I feel like in real life she's kind of just like
it's all about her.
I feel like it's totally all about her. I feel like she's kind of a mess of a person.
Your overall disdain for Madonna will bleed into anything I have to ever say about her. You're like, I think she's a mess.
Listen, it's all about her. Like, I feel like she'd be a really selfish lover. I don't know Madonna, but I feel like maybe...
I feel like she would fuck with you a lot. Like, you'd end up with some, like, True Blue balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it'd be all... I don't know.
True Blue is a song by Madonna.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. No one knew that because
we haven't made a like a virgin joke yet.
The explanation of your joke just made that joke that much funnier.
I didn't know that, and I didn't care to know that, actually.
I wasn't sure if I was going to make any Madonna song jokes in this episode, but, you know, I'm on the borderline about it.
When it's offered to you on a silver platter, you have to. Honestly... I don't remember the court scenes of this movie because I just zoned out.
So you don't remember 80% of this film is what you're saying.
Much.
The problem with the court scenes is that
they're bullshit.
The Brad Merman, Uli Odell, everybody that made the movie, the actors, they're all under the impression they're going to blow our fucking minds with these scenes.
Yeah.
Like, the reveals in the scenes are going to, you know...
There's reveals?
That's what they're calling these scenes, are reveals.
Like
when you find out about Jurgen, and you find out about later, like some of the characters later on in the film.
Shannon's gonna break down this movie for you. They find like this guy dead, which you're upset about that you watched a dead guy watching porn, and then
I'm sorry. Are you going through the movie again for us so far?
Real quick. And then they go to court about it, or no, they meet at the funeral. Then they go to court about it. Then they like have sex. Then they go to court about it. And that's it. That's the end of the movie. It's bullshit. Don't watch it.
And that's about it.
Shannon obviously did not have a sexy time.
It was not sexy. It was uncomfortable.
So Dafoe owns Jurgen on the stand.
Totally.
And punches a big hole in the prosecution's argument. So Madonna jerks Dafoe off in the courthouse elevator.
Yes. HJ in the crowded
with 6 or 7 people.
Yeah.
She jerked him off in the
It was awesome. So she drinks her off in the elevator, and I thought it was kind of sexy. I mean,
he wasn't her sister, but we'll deal with
it. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't incestual, so it wasn't really like I wasn't all about it, but I thought it was pretty hot. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Another funny elevator scene
to
add to her.
Yes. Has there been an elevator scene in every film we've done so far? No, there wasn't one last week.
Cruel Intentions.
Yeah, Cruel Intentions did not have one.
Was there one? Oh, yeah. Well, the whole murder takes place in Justifies. Yeah. If Willem Dafoe was following me through a parking garage, I would call the cops. I would find a way. I would scream for help. even if there weren't cell phones, I get it. Let's just scream for help if Willem Dafoe is following
This
you.
is leading up to my favorite sex scene, and I imagine everyone else's favorite sex scene in the entire film.
It's the only one that's even kind of memorable.
it?
Yeah, because
Willem Dafoe definitely licked Madonna's vagina.
In real life? Like
In real life.
in real life.
When you watch
IRL?
that scene, okay, so Shannon's gonna break it down for you again. She walks to her car, or somebody's car, and then she gets on top of it.
I'd be fucked up if it wasn't their car.
I don't know whose fucking car it was. There's glass. She breaks something.
No. It's like, but the light. Like he says, he talks with the light.
It's like, by the light. So she breaks it. And then
she takes her heel off, breaks it.
And then she got her hands up, and she's on top of the car.
The glass from the bulb shatters.
all over the car.
Onto the hood.
Way too much glass.
Yes.
Big pieces of glass for a little light bulb.
Enough glass where at one point I was like, oh wait, was that like the windshield? Did the windshield come down?
Yeah.
I didn't know what broke. But she breaks the light, and then all the glass falls down, and then she's standing on the car, and Willem starts, going downtown on her. And I swear, he definitely licked her at some point. It was lickage. There was, it was uncomfortable because I was like, there's no way for them to fake this. His face is in her vagina.
I've noted,
she had like a pad or something on.
Did she? Because there was no merkin.
Well, there's probably dental dam.
You don't see her
You
vagina.
see her frontal.
There is frontal, but you don't see her vagina.
You don't see her vagina?
No, you don't. No, God, no.
Either way,
this is a Showgirls.
His face was inside of her crotch.
Which is Showgirls an erotic thriller?
Oh, we're getting a show.
Oh, God. Okay, good. All right. Anyway,
that pool scene by itself. You could do a whole episode
Did no
about the
one
pool
ever
scene.
want to watch Showgirls? We're gonna review it for you. Don't worry. You don't have to watch it. You're gonna make us watch it.
Showgirls really isn't as bad as everyone says it is. But anyway,
Showgirls isn't as bad as this movie.
No,
honestly, I would have preferred
to
watch Showgirls over Body of Fucking Evidence. So anyway, he's going down to her, which is super uncomfortable, and then she puts him down in the glass, right?
Yeah, she sits on his face. Now his back is on the broken glass on the hood
of the light bulb.
Broken glass hood cunnilingus is how I noted that.
And then they start fucking, and she's back on top doing her on top thing.
She loves being on top.
There's a part where you see like the blood on the back of his shirt, which I thought was neat.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, like they do a shot like from
I don't know if
inside
neat's
the
the
hood.
word.
I was like, that was pretty neat. That's a Sexy Time Theater is going to review it as, that was neat.
It's very brazen. There's people like driving through this parking lot and stuff.
Yeah.
There are people driving by as the sex scene is taking place. Does he have his clothes on for the sex scene?
Yeah.
He has his shirt on, right?
Yeah, because he had a shirt on and he sits up and his shirt's all bloody.
I didn't know
and
if at
stuff
some
like
point she ripped it off because they have a lot of weird sex.
There's a new witness, and it's Frank Langella.
Yes. Frank Langella springs up to sparkle some flavor on this bland acting outing, and I was much better for it.
Were they on break in court when they were having sex in the parking garage?
This was a different day.
That was the end of that court day.
Skip to next day.
Yeah, so next day we're back in court, and then Frank Langella's coming in to
Richard fucking Nixon.
He's
in the house.
Frost Nixon. He's like a character witness, basically, to kind of shed some light on Madonna's sexual past.
He's another wealthy man that she dated with a bad heart.
Yes.
And she dropped him after he had a bypass that fixed his heart. They're establishing that she's only with these men because she wants to fuck them to death and get their money.
Yep.
Because he also left money to her in her will, and she also tied him up.
Well,
and he was like...
Please tell me you wrote down his quote, because he dropped some heavy F-bombs.
he goes, she said she would fuck me like I've never been fucked before. And everybody in the audience of the trial is tittering, and the judge is like, I've had enough.
Yes.
And she kicks everybody out.
Yep. I got to hear Archer from Small Soldiers say the F-bomb, so that was good enough for me.
Archer from Small Soldiers?
Small Soldiers, come on.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Thank you. I didn't know. I only know Tommy Lee Jones.
Court adjourns.
I don't want to talk about it.
Court adjourns, and Dafoe grabs Madonna by the arm and throws her into an empty room and goes off. She's like, why did I have to tell you about everybody I date? And he's just like, just the rich old man with bad hearts that left you in his will.
Yes.
And he's like, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. We're not fucking anymore. And she's like, oh, but I thought you cared about me. And he's like, I'm not your type. I'm too young and healthy.
Yeah. He's totally butthurt over this. This is some time where Dafoe's acting showing through that like he's actually hurt the fact that she doesn't really give a shit about him. Like he's finally picking up on it. Not like it took him an hour and 15 minutes in this movie to figure that out, but he finally is figuring it out.
And Willem Dafoe, wait, are you married?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you are, right?
Yeah.
But you're married. Fuck you.
Willem Dafoe goes to visit Julianne Moore at the restaurant you guys didn't know she owned.
Yeah.
And she's behind the bar.
I implore anyone that has watched this movie to email us if they knew that she owned that restaurant.
I think I was just so in shock from the kid in that conversation that I didn't even pay attention to the fact
You
that
were
Julianne Moore
shocked at
owned
the
it.
bad parenting that
Yeah.
you didn't notice the surroundings.
No, that must have been it.
But she knows.
She totally knows, and she is pissed. She's not happy about it at all.
She makes a big scene inside the restaurant. Everybody stops eating to look at her because she's bumping into people, knocking shit over, and yelling about how he screwed around on her. They go through the kitchen, and there's no cooks in this kitchen, which I thought was weird because it's a very busy restaurant.
Is it only her?
Wow, I know. It's funny. I think you're right. I wasn't really paying attention to the weight of that. Of
Is
there's no
she-
cooks in there.
Yeah, is she the owner and the head chef?
Well, typically, if you're
She's
in
not
a
wearing a
restaurant,
chef hat.
She wasn't in an apron.
She's the financial backer.
Well,
If she was dressed like Chef Boyardee in every scene, I'd be like, yeah, go fuck Madonna. This is gross.
It wouldn't fit over her hair. It makes no sense.
Good point.
oh,
It's not her fault, but it wouldn't.
They go into a back alley to have it out over his affair.
I don't think that I would, like, as far as, like, in a restaurant, like, if I owned it and I found out that you were cheating, I wouldn't scream it throughout my restaurant.
well, let's put it
I'd
this
be
way.
mad at you.
She's emotionally vulnerable.
I think that's a kind of 50-50 thing. I think there
But
are
if
people
you're-
out there that are going to freak the fuck out
But if
across the
you're-
situation, and there's probably other people that, like, you know, like, we're going to fucking fight about
Okay.
this later, but, like, I'm not
Granted.
going to do it in public.
I hear what you're saying, but if I know there are no cooks in my kitchen, I'm going to be like, let's go in the fucking kitchen and have this conversation.
Yeah, well, I see that, but not everyone's so has much forethought about it.
I'm Chef Boyer fucking D.
Yeah.
Let's get back there and let's talk about this.
She calls him out on the marks that are on his chest and his back. She's
Yep.
like, what are they, bite marks? And he owns up that he's having an affair. He has no defense. He literally... This is like the thing, like, when I have no defense when Shannon's mad at me about something, and I just go, I love you.
By the way,
I
it's
just
never
I
cheating.
just start stating facts. I'm like, I love you. You're my wife. I have nothing.
I love you. We're married, so it's complicated for you to leave me.
I'll make some statements and hope that you kind of get over
This
it.
ices this over.
And she's
Wow.
not having it, so she kicks him out.
It's very personal, guys. This is pulling at my heartstrings. I don't want this movie to ever be, like, associated with my personal life. Can we never make that statement again?
So Willem Dafoe is outdoors now because
He's outdoors,
Julianne Moore
you know?
kicked him out.
Yeah.
Keep him out the back door.
Goes back to Madonna's not houseboat thing and confronts her, and she's like, maybe I did call her, maybe I told her everything, and he's like, fuck you, and he throws her down. Because he threw her around, she starts licking her finger and playing with herself.
Yeah.
And he has his back to her, like he's totally disgusted. But then he kind of starts looking over his shoulder like,
Well,
I'm sorry, this
I was
circles,
pissed, but now I'm horny. Like, that's totally what happens.
He starts
this
going...
circles back to this is where she belongs. She belongs on her
In the
weird...
mud.
Yeah, in
is
the
where that
mud.
pig belongs.
She's just a gross human being.
Her sucking her finger was disgusting.
It's gross.
Yeah, well...
Here's my thing. You can be sexy. You can be a slut. You can sleep with a million people. Whatever. I don't know that she slept with a million people. That's rude. I don't know her life. But there's a way to do it in a sexy, like,
It's trashy.
pro-woman fashion. And
Yeah.
she does it in the trashiest...
It's a trashy.
Not just in this movie, but in her life. In a trashy, gross sense of herself.
But that's Madonna. Like,
Would you say that
It's
she's not
completely-
discreet?
And no.
He's totally not discreet.
She will not keep
But like
discreet.
that's what always for years since the 80s, since Madonna became who Madonna
listen,
is, like
in the-
she's trashy sexy.
Oh, totally. In the 80s, trashy, sexy was the thing. I get it. For that generation, she was sexy, trashy, fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate into the future generations.
Okay, maybe it doesn't, and
I
also
think
this is why this movie fucking tanked horribly.
Yeah, no, I
and this was
understand that.
more or less the end of
if we're talking about Madonna,
the seductress
in general,
Madonna.
I'm just saying, like,
Valid.
distinction between trashy and sexy. She borders the trashy side.
Borderline.
She's on that borderline. Yeah,
Like
Ben,
I'm
we get it. You like to
going
sing. We understand.
That's astute, being from the female voice of the podcast.
I mean, for my cramps, I still take Motrin. I don't snort anything.
Snort any herbal.
But that's probably because I'm not as trashy.
All right, well, let's get back to
You don't have a personal herbalist.
Yeah. Let's get back to the sex scene.
Defoe dives on top of her.
It's rapey.
And at this point,
It's always rapey.
again,
It's
back
full.
to the music, because the music's just delicious.
There's a
Delicious.
Latin choir. What's
children's
up with,
choir.
Yeah.
I didn't-
What is up with that?
Guys, I watched the movie, didn't know there was music.
No.
I
See,
don't remember
like,
any music.
you watched her with the mute on.
Guys,
I didn't pay attention.
No
to,
music.
I didn't pay attention to the music of 98% of this film, except for the child Latin choir that comes over during the Willem Dafoe Madonna rape scene. Like,
There's
it
a
was
lot of
completely
exposing
fucking
children
weird.
to things they shouldn't be exposed to. You're like, choir, please stand here and
I
sing.
think I say, what's up with the child Latin speaking choir? That is like, why? What makes it seem like that's what we need right now?
Listen, children are involved a lot in this movie, and they had to include them somehow.
She strategically has handcuffs under her couch
She
just in
was
case
gonna
somebody
handcuff
wrestles
him.
her to the floor. She whips him out, tries to put him on him because she's
dirty.
supposed to be the dominant, and he's like, nah.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we get really creepy Willem Dafoe,
Yeah.
doing his creep thing.
Yeah.
The worst part about, like, if you put any other actor in this situation, it's just them, like, turning the tables. Willem
What about
Dafoe-
Malkovich?
Malkovich is
No,
scary.
that
All
would
right,
scare.
listen.
I would have
All
been
right.
scared.
Most other actors, if you put them in this situation...
Let's get our next podcast. What about Malkovich?
Yeah, what about Malkovich? I'm totally
But,
about
like,
that.
okay,
Wham.
most other actors besides him, and maybe James Spader. He
Yeah,
might be a little...
yeah.
In his older age, it might still be a little creepy.
Oh God, Spader in this would have been so good.
Young Spader is hot.
True color
that would've
Spader?
been
Yeah,
fun.
that would have been
But
nice.
now Spader in this would have been just as
Balding
uncomfortable.
Spader?
Yeah, if you put any other actor in this, like, okay, he turned the tables, fine. When you put Willem Dafoe in this, it escalates it to a creepy rape that you will never recover from.
Yeah, he got very Shadow of the Bat.
It escalates it so
Shadow of the Vampire.
You're like, oh, it's fun and sexy, and then you're like, oh shit, he's raping the fuck
Well,
out of her.
he
Like,
forces
it's
the
upsetting.
handcuffs onto her, and then they do some butt stuff.
Yes, they do.
Do they? Again, I watched this movie, I promise.
He forces it up her. What's the word? Rectum.
Yeah, damn near killed him.
Damn, we're Sexy Time Theater and we don't
Just
know the
high
word
five.
rectum.
Yes.
And she's not too crazy about it. She bites him, and she's like, "You fuck."
Yeah.
And then she gets into it because she's Madonna.
Totally.
She belongs in the mud.
And then he sleeps over because he doesn't have a home anymore.
Well, his home is now in her ass.
Stan Shaw was like, "Well, I know he's at Madonna's." And he wakes him up. That's the other thing. It's just accepted that he's fucking Madonna. Everybody knows about it.
Oh, totally.
Nobody makes a big deal about it. But Stan Shaw shows up at the houseboat, and
He's got a little piece of evidence with him.
Stan Shaw, the only person doing any legal work in the movie.
Right.
No one does any legal work.
Stan Shaw's on top of his game.
He goes
Well,
back and
because-
looks at Madonna's sex tape and finds out that they, for some reason, didn't watch the whole thing.
Yes.
And that some of it had been erased. And that Ann Archer was also in there.
Didn't watch the whole thing. Let me repeat that for the listeners. That the police on this murder case that has been going on for a good 4 to 5 days, you'd say now. They've been in trial now,
Yeah.
at least a good week now.
At least a week, yeah.
Did not watch the whole fucking piece of evidence. I mean, this is 93. It could have been more than a
I'm
6
sorry.
to 8 hour tape. Like,
Who remembers VHSs? They had a time. So they would say right on it, 6 or 8 hours.
Yeah. Just so they literally are like, wow, there's
Yeah.
Madonna fucking that guy.
It was 6
All right,
hours.
case closed, guys.
How about this dickhead was in love with Ann Archer, dropped her for Madonna, and not only had made a sex tape with her, but it was like,
I'm just going to
I don't
tape
have any
over.
I don't have any other tapes in the house. I'm just gonna tape over. This is the Ann Archer sex tape. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, Ann Archer's old news. I got Madonna now. I'm just gonna tape right over it, and not even tape over it completely.
Ann Archer, so much fucking hotter than Madonna.
This gives Willem Dafoe an opportunity to blame everything on Ann Archer. So he like grabs Stan Shaw and kisses him in the cheek.
Yeah.
And Stan Shaw's like, "Oh man, you're embarrassing me." But what I'm really thinking is he's probably like, "Oh man, you got Madonna on your mouth still."
Exactly.
Vomit.
Oh man. But yeah, so
Vomit.
Ann Archer is about to get put on blast on the stand, and not in a good way. And now we're back to battered and bruised, defenseless Ann Archer that we've all come to know and love over the last films that we've seen her in.
He calls her out about the tape. He says you were jilted and that your inheritance was downsized because Madonna got the $8 million. He proves that she bought the nasal spray. He has a receipt. The nasal spray that the cocaine was in was purchased by Ann Archer. Now he's pretty much got Ann Archer dead to rights. He's got an alternative that Ann Archer creates reasonable doubt.
Yes.
But Madonna still insists on testifying. And at first he's like, no, I can't have you testify.
For a minute he's a lawyer and he's like, nah.
She's like, come on, remember that time you handcuffed me against my will and did butt stuff? And he's like, all right.
He's like, fuck, I don't want to get arrested for that. Let's do it.
We get the Julianne Moore-Madonna bathroom showdown. Madonna is supposed to go to the stand. They're both washing their hands in the bathroom. And there's no reason for us to believe that Madonna knows what Julianne Moore looks like.
That was the first time I realized it was Julianne Moore. When I first watched it, for a minute, because,
you didn't watch this movie.
I did. I swear to God. I won't get these hours of my life back, so I promise you I watched it. I didn't realize it was Julianne Moore. I thought, because Ben said it was Ann Archer, was in the movie.
In the movie, he was
just like, oh, babe, Ann Archer's in this movie, you'll like it. Because I like Ann Archer. So when I saw it for a minute...
You obviously don't like her that much. You thought she was Julianne Moore for an hour and 20 minutes of movie.
I wasn't paying attention. When I realized it was Julianne Moore, I was like, when did she come in this movie?
Madonna goes, wish me luck, which... if she knows that that's Willem Dafoe's wife, and why else would she be saying it to her, is fucked up. Yeah. And she is a C-word.
I'm sorry, if we've established anything about Madonna, is that she's not the person that we think she was.
Julianne Moore wheels off and slaps her in the face.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
It's not a good movie slap, though. You don't really see any connection. It's kind of like the fighting in Cruel Intentions.
But it's everything I've wanted to see happen to Madonna. Just smack in the face.
Madonna takes the stand, and Montaigne asks if it's a huge coincidence that she dated the rich guy and the rich guy's doctor. And she goes, Portland's a small city. I even dated a man who dated a woman you dated. Which is the level of dialogue we get pretty much the whole movie. It's just dopey shit.
Yes.
Like that. This is where we find out she owns an art gallery, because we don't know that until the last 15 minutes of the movie, and all of a sudden we're supposed to make sense of that.
It's like, here's useless bullshit information. Have fun.
They question her about the Frank Langella relationship, and she says that they didn't end it because he got his heart fixed. She ended it because she found him in bed with another man, and she could not compete. And Langella is in the back of the audience, and he just gets up and is like, yeah.
Unceremoniously, just...
like, son of a bitch.
Just like, why would you even get involved in the case? Because
that's what's going to come back around.
Right. But you could say that about everything in this movie, like, why?
This movie has a very sad case of, we filmed this entire movie, it has an ending, and we don't really know, how to get to that ending, so here it is. And it, because legitimately, the next scene after this movie is the final, climax of this film. And there's no segue, there's no build-up to it whatsoever.
Yeah, and this is another thing that Dafoe did not know. He wasn't aware of any of this information, because Madonna didn't tell him. So Madonna, she drops the knowledge, and then Dafoe's all proud, the defense rests.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah.
I want to point out that Ann Archer's in the audience, and you think something's going to come of that because she's still there, but nothing ever does.
Nope.
Guys, I'm just going to say, I didn't realize the twist of this movie.
What, that Langella was gay?
No, not Langella was gay.
That was the big twist for me.
The Skeletor like the bone?
I like that Nixon took it up the ass. I didn't know, spoilers, that Madonna was the killer. I don't know why I didn't know.
Who did you think it was?
I thought it was...
You thought he just died from being old?
I thought he was just fucking old. No, I thought it was Ann Archer. I really did.
Oh, you thought Ann Archer?
I thought Ann Archer did it. Maybe it's because the awful police work.
And here's the thing, like, you might have realized this if you actually watched the movie.
I did watch the movie!
He didn't die from a cocaine overdose. They just found cocaine in his system. What is that? They never actually blamed the death.
Because of his arrhythmia.
Yeah. It was just all a combo. But like the fact of the matter is, he died from getting screwed to death. That's legitimately was the prosecution going with the fact that Madonna fucks this old guy.
The prosecution was going with... They
feed him cocaine, and she fucks these guys with heart problems, and they have heart failure and go into cardiac arrest during sex.
This is me.
Your logic. This is
Shannon logic.
I'm
going through it. I thought Ann Archer gave him the coke so that when Madonna would have sex with him, it would kill him. Because,
so wait, you thought
she
that...
was mad.
You thought that Ann Archer and Madonna were working together?
No, I didn't think they were working together. I thought Ann Archer was so mad at the guy that she just wanted him dead. And that she was mad and she wanted it to be pinned on Madonna, so she did all this to do that.
Okay.
That's what you're led to believe.
Unfortunately, this movie did a very good job at leading me to believe that was going to happen, and I thought it did. So when Madonna turns around and is like, yeah, that's what we did, I was like, wait, she was aware?
The verdict comes...
I was very upset.
The verdict comes back, not guilty. And Madonna immediately turns to Willem Dafoe and goes, thanks, you almost convinced me. Like, she could have just let it go and walked.
Yeah.
But she's got to, I mean, it is like a plot device of a lot of movies where the villain's, like, too smart for their own good and has to be cocky about it.
Yeah.
Matanya goes over to him and is just like, just walk away. Which means that he knew something was going on. Which really, it kind of bugs me, but I'll get back to that.
I'm coming back around.
So, of course, Willem Dafoe can't let it go that he knows now that she may have actually done it. She goes to the houseboat, just like every other time in the movie. He just walks right in, and she's talking to...
There's no locks in Portland.
Jurgen, the German doctor, and it turns out that they planned the murder together. And all of a sudden, he's concerned about the legal repercussions of what he did. Like, he didn't realize that lying on the stand and then getting caught in that lie and possibly being an accessory to murder would fuck him up. All of a sudden, he's like, oh, no. Willem Dafoe's, like, sitting up.
I love it. I was like a second to point out you're concerned German. Oh, no. That was really good. Sorry. He was German and concerned.
I can't. When they are, like, back at the house and they're like, have some fucking discretion, man. Wait a week until you go to the house and then discuss the plan in front of the fucking lawyer who just defended you. Like, give it a minute.
Jurgen's got no chill.
He's got no chill.
None.
Yo, he has no chill.
But Defoe's like, okay, so I know what you did.
But Madonna's balling him anyway.
Madonna goes, well, you know, it's privilege because you're my lawyer, so you can't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. And then she says something about how she fucked Dafoe. And Jurgen's like, wait, you fucked Dafoe? And this is the line of the movie. Quite possibly, like, the only reason for this movie to exist. I fucked you. I fucked Andrew. I fucked Frank. That's what I do. I fuck.
That's her sole purpose in life.
This whole movie is just worth it for that. I mean,
so
Jurgen's like, you never loved me. I'm like McBain from fucking The Simpsons.
Your German accent's great. I'm loving it, personally.
Jurgen starts beating the shit out of Madonna, and Dafoe tries to help, and he beats the shit out of Willem Dafoe. She runs upstairs.
German doctor, get out my
face.
face.
He was the bad guy from Beverly Hills Cop 2, man. He's not.
Yes, he was.
He's a force to be reckoned with, man.
Willem Dafoe ain't saving shit.
Madonna grunts into her underwear drawer, where of course she has a gun.
Yep.
And Jurgen immediately takes it away from her and shoots her.
Yeah.
So best part of the movie.
Defoe wrestles the gun away and throws Jurgen over the balcony thing, and he goes crashing to a coffee table, and he looks pretty dead, but he's not, of course. It's just like Glenn Close coming back from being drowned in Fatal Attraction. So he's like, Madonna, you okay? Drowned. And she's like, yeah, it's just a flesh wound or whatever. And then fucking Jurgen's at the top of the steps, like barely holding on, just bam, 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 bam. Shoots her through the window. It's not a houseboat, but she is on the water, so we get her just flying through this fucking window out into the ocean. Just out into the bay.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
there's something else I don't remember watching.
Rewind. She won how much money from the soul guy?
$8 million.
8 mil, right?
Yeah.
We said that in the podcast?
Yes.
Okay.
Multiple times.
Shush.
You pay as much attention to this podcast as you did that movie.
No, I knew he said it, but I didn't know, like, I'm just making sure. So when she dies and the doctor dies, no one gets this money, right?
No.
I thought about that.
It
Yeah.
gets cheese.
Hopefully Ann Archer gets it. I hope.
I hope. She can buy a nice hairdo.
Follow-up scene to after this, your stereotypical end of the film, bad guy in cuffs going in the cop car, shot of the dead body, and I don't even remember what the exact quote
Mantegna's just there to rub it in Willem Dafoe's face. He's just like, do you believe in karma?
Yeah, and he says something about being a lawyer. He's like, that's the thing about lawyers. Like,
he's like, yeah, everybody gets what they deserve in the end, except for the lawyers. Willem Dafoe goes, oh, you should have won the case. And Mantegna's looking at her dead body get loaded onto, like, the gurney thing. And he's like, I did. And he's smoking a cigarette. And Madonna's body is getting wheeled down the dock. And then you see Julianne Moore just, like, standing next to Madonna's dead body, just like, fucking twat.
Again, why is
That's the end of the movie. Is
why
just
is
Julianne Moore
there?
I'm sorry.
They don't really wrap it up. You don't get it. Just like in Fatal Attraction, this piece of shit cheated on his wife, and you don't have a scene where he has to explain himself to her.
No explanation.
That is the purpose of the movie. That last line, or not very last line, but that line where Mantegna says, like, everyone gets what they deserve in the end, except the lawyer, is the bottom line is basically, you can be a piece of shit lawyer that cheats on his wife with a murdering asshole, and nothing bad is ever going to happen to you because of it.
Except your slut mistress.
Yeah, roll credits. Oh, man, that was the purpose of this movie. Be a lawyer, and you can be an asshole, and everything will be okay. That's what I got from this film.
That's life.
Yeah.
This movie is all for no reason. Everything she does, everything to get away with everything. Like, the fact that he got so mad that Madonna had sex with Willem Dafoe that he killed her and risked the $8 million and their love life.
Dude, that was the power of Madonna's pee.
It makes no sense.
That was the power of Madonna's pee.
It makes no sense. Please don't watch this movie. It's ridiculous. Don't do it.
We've reached the end of our film.
But now it's time for a better climax.
Yes.
A better climax.
I'll go first.
We're going to help you, Madonna.
When I saw Ann Archer sitting in the back of the pews at the courthouse, I just assumed that she was going to whip out a gun as Madonna was getting off on she was found not guilty, and just fucking pop Madonna in, like, the head. That would be the end.
We did this last time, and I'm totally 100% behind you. That's exactly what I expected to happen.
Reese,
or wanted
what
to
would
see.
your better climax be?
That was it.
Okay.
My better climax was going to be action build up inside the courthouse. Either, Ann Archer or Julianne Moore's character dealing out comeuppance to Madonna.
It's weird. Like, you think it's going to end inside the courthouse because you spend 80% of the movie inside the courthouse and the other 20 inside of Madonna.
Nice.
Vomit.
Shannon, what's your better climax?
My climax is never having kind of watched this movie. I think
this movie broke Shannon's spirit. She's just like, there's no point to anything.
There's no point to the world. I honestly, when she died, I went, oh no, like, don't do that, because then this movie has no point. Please don't die. Come back to life, because this movie's all for naught.
How are we going to get a body of evidence too?
I don't. And then, Willem Dafoe and Madonna had taken the money and, ran away together. Alright, that may have been a better climax. But to kill her makes this whole movie fucking stupid. Wait, you find out about Yorgos?
Close enough. Just roll with it.
You find out about German.
You roll about German.
You find out about German 10 maybe seconds before she dies. And then he shoots her in the chest. But for the whole movie, you're just like, oh, well, she's kind of liking Dafoe, and maybe they'll run away together, and that'll be their thing, whatever.
You don't believe at any point that she's really into him anyway, so.
Do you not believe at any point she's really into him?
You also got to remember, for the entire movie, she also had no idea that Madonna was the killer. And from my perspective, I knew Madonna was the killer from the first 5 minutes of this movie.
She has more chemistry with Joe Mantegna in every scene she's in.
She has no chemistry at all. I'm not saying that she has a good relationship with him. I'm saying that in general, I thought because she wasn't the killer at the end, they would end up together and run away with the money. Like, to wherever. He would leave his wife and child that he didn't give a shit about. I didn't think that they would end up better. I'm just saying that the better climax would be she lived, because that would give purpose to this movie.
Okay, well, we might not have purpose, but
There's no purpose.
We might not have purpose, but look, last episode, we introduced a new section of the podcast, and sadly, it was a lot of implicated things because there was no nudity or sex in the last episode.
It was word porn.
Yeah, it was a lot of word porn. But this, I was very, very happy within the first 30 seconds of watching this movie. There's tits already on screen. So I'm like, so I caught some STDs this week to share with everyone. This the sexy time data.
Oh.
Yeah, so...
I was like, included.
Yeah, so the sexy time data that I've charted for this week, there was a lot of it, all right? So we get Madonna tits early on with a cowgirl sex scene that's seen via the porno tape. We then get missionary sex between Dafoe and Julianne Moore, where we get Dafoe ass. We then get Julianne Moore tits and ass as she's getting up and running to the bathroom. We get Dafoe Madonna round 1 with some wax burning, some...
Wax condom.
Wax condom, some medium style BDSM with the belt tying up. Then we get Madonna tits, a little Madonna full frontal, nothing like too crazy. We then get our implied hand job in elevator, because you're not really going to show a hand job, but he definitely got jerked off in that elevator. Which leads us to our sex on top of hood of car, cunnilingus on top of hood of car, on top of broken glass, mind you, on top of the hood of that car.
And definite actor face and crotch.
Yeah, definitely.
She
was wearing a dental dam, probably.
Okay, but he had his face in her vagina.
Yeah, her face was in the vajayjay.
In real life.
And then we get a round 3 of Madonna Dafoe, which was awesome because we got anal in that scene, which is always a good thing.
I didn't know it was anal.
Yeah. First anal, guys.
Yeah, our first anal experience. And it was with Madonna.
It was a little uncomfortable, but, we eased ourselves into it.
Yeah. This means it's going to be easier the next time. It's just going to be easier the next time it happens. That's all.
I'm very upset, guys. Very upset.
So, yeah, those were the STDs.
I don't condone any of this.
Those are the STDs we caught this week through Body of Evidence.
Nice.
Now it's time for titillating tidbits.
Ooh.
Shannon, you should be doing some of this moaning.
No.
I was waiting with bated breath. I'm like, I can't believe that.
No.
Give us like a really like
the old
do like a really like
no. Listen, I have friends and family listen to this podcast. I'm not moaning for you people.
Can I say I wait every episode since episode 2 for the trivia for me to be able to do that noise.
Yeah, it sounds good when you do it. When I do it, it's gonna be awkward. We're not doing it. Good.
All of these titillating tidbits are Madonna related, of course.
Vomit.
Madge, as I call her.
Vomit.
Shush you.
Titillating tidbit. Shannon vomits every time you say Madonna.
Madonna's salary was higher than all of the other actors combined.
Really?
That
Even Dafoe?
Sense. Listen, her vagina was out.
This was a $30 million budget, and I think it made something like 12 back.
She licked wax off a human body, so...
I didn't even remember this was in my titillating tidbits. To your point, Reese, no body doubles.
There were no body doubles.
So double A and Archer, that was all
her.
her.
Right, and Archer.
Madonna and Willem Dafoe spent 2 weeks rehearsing the sex scenes.
Yeah, I bet
before they started filming.
I bet they did spend 2 weeks rehearsing their sex scenes.
If I was going to be like, I'm the main actress in this movie, I need an actor to be the sex symbol across from me, Willem Dafoe would not be my first choice. I wouldn't be like, I need Dafoe.
I know girls out there, well, I know one girl out there that is like, has a thing for Willem Dafoe. And he's really creepy and really fucking weird looking. I completely understand that.
Shannon, you're not Madonna, Madonna's not you. Life is a mystery.
Everyone
must walk alone.
Stop it. Alright. I get the sex appeal.
She heard Willem call her name.
Unfortunately,
she's not alone.
Alright, I understand that Willem Dafoe can be... Again, in that one scene of that one movie, I was like, oh, Willem Dafoe's kind of hot in this. I understand that there is an appeal
Was
to
he almost
him.
like a beautiful stranger?
Yeah. You know what? Madonna references can suck it.
Fucking Austin Powers, too.
Yes.
You're welcome, audience. Rate and review us on iTunes, please. I understand that there's an appeal to Willem Dafoe. I'm just saying, like, if I had to pick an actor to make out with and have stalk and anal rape me, it would not be Willem Dafoe, is all I'm saying.
Madonna and Willem Dafoe were asked about the movie years later, and when they asked about the sex scenes, Madonna said they were scientific and not sexy at all. Willem Dafoe, however, said that he was turned on despite himself. And I guess despite Madonna.
Yeah, obviously. Since they were totally scientific to Madonna.
So wait, Madonna was not
Madonna
turned
said
on.
they weren't sexy. She's like, they were just very ho-hum, I guess. And just going through the motions.
This was
like,
Madonna is an actor.
She's like...
Oh man, what if it would have been Vanilla Ice as the lawyer?
I was gonna say, can you imagine?
Hey, yo, the defense rests.
Listen, I don't know
Word
if
to your mother.
I don't know if you guys have read Sex, the novel by Madonna, but this is the film adaptation of Sex, the table fucking picture book.
Go ninja, go ninja, go. The defense rests, yo.
I think Willem Dafoe probably would have been turned on by this. It makes sense.
This is my favorite one. Madonna's acting coach quit before filming even started,
No shit.
That makes a lot more sense.
claiming that she thinks she knows everything.
Oh, wow. That's so not surprising.
That's her fucking life.
So, guys, we watched this thing so others wouldn't have to.
Yeah,
We made the sacrifice that others wouldn't. Let's do it.
All right, I'll start her off.
Reese, was it sexy?
Okay, this has layers to me. Okay, so the sex in it, I wouldn't call it scientific, but it wasn't necessarily sexy. It was either A, really rapey, or B, just kind of really just forced. Like, I definitely see what Madonna was saying. Like, this kind of seemed like every sex scene, especially between her and Dafoe, were just kind of like, meh. And then the sex scene between him and Julianne Moore, no one had chemistry at all between anybody at all in this film. It was all just really like pounding away or really just like shitty BDSM like jokes. So no, I didn't have a sexy time.
Shannon?
No.
Was it a sexy time?
It was not a sexy time. It was actually very uncomfortable for most of it. It was boring. It was upsetting. Even the sex scenes were kind of boring. And there was weird stuff going on in them to try to make them interesting. Like,
Yes.
I feel like the wax and the glass and everything else were trying so hard to make up for the fact that there was no chemistry between these actors. They were like, oh, but if there's wax, it might be interesting. It wasn't.
Lots of people have tried to keep a relationship going by introducing wax and glass.
Wax and glass, it's a real thing, guys. Just think it was so unsexy that I unfocused for most of it, which is why people think I didn't watch the movie. But I just want to be clear, I did watch the movie. I have witnesses to that.
I believe you watched the movie. Just busting
I
your
watched the
balls.
movie with someone. I'm just saying. I don't want to be accused of the guy that didn't watch this movie and then reviewed it. It's not sexy.
Are they a reliable character witness, or is it a
Reliable
Jurgen
character
situation?
witnesses, I will call them to
Did you
the
pay
court.
off Frank Langella to?
I have a
tell
German.
everyone?
I have a German and a gay that I would bring to my witness stand. Just don't think it was sexy. I don't like Madonna personally. She's never ugly. I want to say that. I don't think that she's an ugly individual. I just think that it's never sexy with her. It's uncomfortable and gross.
It's trashy.
Willem Dafoe is a good actor, but in this movie, he really just put it aside to fuck Madonna. I feel like he was just like, whatever, I gotta get through this. I can kind of fuck Madonna. Ben, did you have a sexy time?
I hadn't seen this movie before, but 10-year-old Ben would have had a field day with this movie.
I do not like how often we reference 10-year-old Ben.
Well, 10-year-old
podcasts.
Reese would have enjoyed the shit out of this
10-year-old Ben
movie.
and 10-year-old Reese are very sexual.
This is all, like, this whole podcast is in service to my inner child, and Reese's.
Yeah.
Not Shannon.
My inner child was a horny
Guys,
little
I'm just
bugger.
along for the ride to hear about your sexual...
My inner child was watching Squiggle Vision, like, and hoping to make out a boob. Like, seriously.
The only sexy scene in this movie was the Julianne Moore sex scene. And that wasn't even, like, knock your
You
socks off.
thought the Julianne Moore sex
It was sexier than anything else in this movie.
scene was sexy?
Sexier than Madonna stuff.
I agree.
It was.
The worst part is that the sex scenes have no purpose to the plot. It's the courthouse scenes and then the sex scenes, and they never overlap. Like, there's no tension because you never get the sense that Willem Dafoe could lose his job or really be compromised.
Oh, no, there's no consequences.
No, like, really, like, the only purpose for the Madonna and Dafoe sex scenes is, like, so Madonna can basically just suck Dafoe in, but it doesn't really matter.
And
Dafoe,
off.
Yeah, like that. Well, but Dafoe's her lawyer, so he's gonna defend her regardless if he fucks
Either
her
way.
or not. And it's not like her defenses were, like, these extreme, like, out there defenses where she needed to get Dafoe on board to, like, make it work. Like, no, she had already crafted and planned everything and didn't tell him about shit, and then just fucked him on top of it. Like, it wasn't like she was fucking him to make a means to an end, you know? The sex was meaningless. It really was.
Would you say that this whole movie was meaningless?
Oh, no shit. Well, it wasn't...
They infer that Montaigne knows that they're fucking.
Montaigne,
but they could have made a lot out of that. They could have either had Montaigne, like, blackmail him, or you bring it up in the actual case and fucking blindside everybody, or even have, like, a thing where Montaigne is like, should I do it or not, and really flesh out his character. But didn't do any of that.
No, it's not about... It's weird because they make it... The problem with this movie is everything. But mostly because they make it a court drama, but at the same time they're like, but it's an erotic thriller, but it's the two are separate entities, and they never meet.
It's a courtroom drama where everything that takes place in the court is nothing but a horrible lie that you know it's a lie from the beginning. And then it's an erotic thriller where all the sex is really forced in there without a purpose. So neither of the two elements of this film really do anything for themselves, and together do nothing.
Work for each other. And then in the end, I'm sorry, the billionaire that died and left this money as someone, where is it left now? We have no clue. Like,
the state seizes.
Nothing.
The state would seize it.
The state would seize it.
Well, the money that would have gone to Madonna, because Madonna obviously doesn't have, like, you know, kids or, like, someone that, like, she doesn't have a living will. She's probably in her early 30s. No, I want to go to urine. He's going to jail.
It wouldn't go to urine. It wouldn't...
Urine.
It wouldn't...
It's not going to the German.
It wouldn't go to Dafoe. It wouldn't go to anyone. And then the whole purpose of this movie, like, the whole reason she was on trial, she wins the trial, like, oh, great, she wins. And then for nothing.
You could have cut 40 minutes off this movie and then just made a really shitty episode of Law and Order.
You could have...
easy. A really bad episode of Law and Order.
You could have cut an hour and a half of this podcast and just went with Shannon's initial review, which is, this movie is bullshit, don't watch it.
It was a waste of every actor, and it was kind of a bummer.
It's awful.
We'll try to watch, like, a so bad it's good movie next time and not just a bad movie.
We're not reviewing this to be funny.
No.
We're reviewing this to be like, this is bullshit, don't watch it.
If you're going to watch a movie where Madonna is a femme fatale who sucks in a man of the law, and then it turns out that she is actually the killer, watch Dick Tracy.
Yeah, just enjoy that one. Where she's in it for how long?
Maybe all of 5 minutes.
Maybe all of 5 minutes.
Total.
And she makes it
No,
work.
actually she's in there a lot.
She's in a decent amount.
I was just thinking of her as No Face, which I have spoilers, I guess. No Face is in the movie for all of 5 minutes. Madonna is in the movie a lot.
But,
all I really need is balls.
Yeah, but she's not like the main character, so she's enjoyable. I don't think
she always gets her man.
Yeah, I don't think she's a good main character.
In summary,
Bullshit.
She wouldn't be dead now if it wasn't for her greed. If she hadn't been such
the hubris,
a material girl.
Oh, sad face. Sad that you made that reference.
Next time on Sexy Time Theater, we're going to leave Sexy Time Studios. We're going to go out into the world. We're going to go to the Cineplex and see a modern movie not written in the 80s or 90s and certainly not written by Brad Merman, although maybe it could have been.
Merman.
We're going to go see Dakota Johnson and the guy that plays Christian Grey, whose name I don't know. Shannon doesn't know either. Dornan? It's all right. Jamie Dornan.
Sure.
Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan in the adoption of E.L. James's classic seminal fluid novel.
New York Times bestseller.
Movie that...
They're all bestsellers.
Took a menopausal nation by storm.
Oh, fuck you.
not to make this podcast any longer than it is, but we're going to do this field trip to go see 50 Shades of Grey, and I was saying to Ben earlier before we started filming, I'm going into this movie already with the worst of mindsets. I'm expecting this movie to be shit. I'm expecting to hate it, and I'm really going to clear my mind. I'm going to get zen over the next couple days so I can go in with a fresh slate so we can give a real objectionable review, unlike Shannon did with Body of Evidence, because she just walked in hating Madonna from the door. I'm going to try my best, guys. I am. So
if I can walk in the Body of Evidence
eat a wax
without
stick.
judging it.
God, sorry.
If I can walk in the Body of Evidence without judging it, then we can walk into 50 Shades and be like, maybe it'll be good.
Wait, I'm sorry. You don't think 50 Shades is going to be the
No,
movie?
You know what I think 50
read
Shades
any
of
books,
Grey is going to be? I think 50 Shades of Grey is going to be a movie adaptation of a girl that wrote a fan fiction based off of Twilight.
Yeah.
And that sounds like shit to me.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
No.
Like, I'm sorry.
It's fan
that
fiction
just sounds
off Twilight.
like the worst idea of all time.
All right. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, wait, did you read them? No.
No, I didn't read the books. I'm not going to try.
Did or not.
No.
That's why I was curious. Because some people read Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey.
No.
I'm not saying which one of the people in this podcast read them, but some people read them, and
It's the only one without a Y chromosome, I'll tell you that much.
Bitch, don't act like you don't know what Twilight is. Don't act. Don't play.
Anyway,
We'll see you next week.
I'm Reese.
I'm Ben.
I'm Shannon. Please rate and review us on iTunes, and also check us out on sextimetheater.podbean.com, and we are also available on the amazing Stitcher app, so please check us out.
And all you lazy listeners, we're on YouTube now too, so you can watch us really easy. It's just a search Sexy Time Theater and we'll pop right up.
Don't forget to email us either, because we're getting very lonely.
And go be sexy.
We're lonely. Go be sexy.
We love you guys.